Scratch.
Hello.
I was going for a high pitch, and I was like, I don't know how to end this without sounding awkward. So it sounded awkward. Welcome to the Woodness Guild,
I bought these.
episode 11. We'll do our quick shout-outs real quick. First, as always, is going to be Nim T. She does our artwork, so if you like our artwork that you see in our slides below me,
I will not, sir.
you won't see those. But if you do see them, you do like them, you can go to nimt.art, NYNTEA.ART on Instagram
He
and
said
check out her
the
artwork.
art is below me, and I said I will not, sir.
Yes.
Oh gosh.
I heard the joke. I didn't need to hear it twice.
Below? Like blow?
Yes.
Yeah. I thought it was
He's
fun.
very proud of it, so we're going to pause for a second. And then we'll also thank the Dungeon Forge. They have made us some miniatures.
We're picking up more minis. Me and Zoe are gonna go.
Oh,
pick them up
nice.
on
You
Saturday.
guys
yeah.
are picking up more minis from them.
Yeah, they
Heck
have.
yeah.
There's an event
We
at
did
a
a trade
game store on
with them.
Saturday morning that they're at, so we're
Yep.
gonna go check it out.
We're gonna go and get
check it out,
Korean
yeah.
barbecue too.
Word.
Why was this not discussed beforehand?
Well, Chris and I
I
are
heard
going.
they were golfing.
We're golfing. The Dungeon Forge, so go check them out on Instagram.
With your
Go to their
name.
online website, thedungeonforge.com. They got some cool minis and some cool booklets that go with their minis that give you stories, so you actually don't need a book. It gives you everything. Outside of that, we have our False Life Dice duet.
Still have
Across the table
dice
from
available
me.
in our Etsy shop.
Are
We're
you
going to
guys
be doing a giveaway soon.
talking about the new editions?
Oh, we're not. No, we're not selling those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a 3D printer, but we're not like selling minis or anything. Might get some cool goodies with some dice sets, maybe something like that.
Yeah, we don't know
Yeah.
enough about it yet to really offer.
We're still
That's
working
fair.
out the kinks.
Check
there.
out the Dungeon Forge
The
or
Dungeon
Mungo's
Forge,
Marvelous Minis.
yeah.
They have good.
Yeah,
minis.
and
There.
Mungos. We're friends with the Mungos.
But we'll be doing a giveaway soon, and you're going to want to keep your eyes open for that because it's going to be legit. We both made a set, and we were only going to do one set
Well,
for
we're
the giveaway.
partnering with 9 other dice makers.
9 other dice makers.
Yeah.
So that's going to be
Hell
huge.
yeah.
We were going to do one set ourselves, but then we both made a set that we both loved.
And a chunky mushroom.
And a chunky Can I talk? Can I talk? All right, so False Life Dice is owned specifically by me now. She is cut out.
The partnership is in
It's
cuts.
just been dissolved. You've seen it here, folks. When this
Heard
goes
it
to
here
court, you'll
first.
all have my back, right?
And as we bring that back to the Woodness Guild, yeah, thank you guys for watching. We're going to take some quick shots real quick.
Shots.
Enjoy our intro video while you wait.
Are our minis out here? The little minis.
Oh God, I just got.
Welcome to the guild. The world of Ethway and its 16 regions are a battlefield of chaos. Those that can bring stabilization to this world are known as heroes. The ones fighting for this title today are Bultash, a true adventurer with a love for combat, looking to help where he can. Nazlith, a shy elf with an affinity for fortune and magic. Budanik, the master artificer. He has 2 passions, tinkering and being the best. And finally, Willow and Emberly, the divine twins. These Genasi sisters have mastered the art of elemental fighting and protect their kingdom at all costs. Together, this is a powerful group. Will they fight the chaos of Ethway and prevail, or fall one by one? Find out this week on the Woodness Guild.
Sometimes you
kidding
gotta
me?
clean up your beer with a dog toy.
Are you kidding me? That's a real thing.
That's a real thing.
It's
That's
absorbent.
I've seen you lick things off a table. You
Mike,
lick
we
things
took
out
the
of bed.
shot 30 seconds ago. Come on.
I spilled beer.
Handle yourself.
Welcome back.
I don't feel right.
Where
I didn't feel good.
we left off, my
Trustee
little
Okay.
Nice. Woody with a hoodie.
I thought it was pretty bold.
So, we'll let you laugh that one off.
Woody with a hoodie.
If it helps, I definitely have that thing on the back. You know, like the back of it. There's like that thing right here. It's perfect.
So,
My head looks like a penis.
as
Oh god, I can't.
nice.
You're a 5 fungi. It looks like a mushroom.
There we go.
Exactly.
Aw, mushroom tip.
So where we left off, you guys made your way to Bultash. You spent a day shopping. You guys definitely noticed the large presence of their military around here. And something I wanted to go over, when we talk about cities in Ethway, they're more of like city-states or like city-nations. So don't think of it as one city. It's a city with, you know, little sub-cities around it and communities. But you guys made it to Bultash. Sorry, I had to get that off my chest for some reason.
Just burping is horrible.
On your second day in Bultash, they came under attack by what you guys are very familiar with, the demons. The demon lord Zugtmoy was there, and
Lorette.
you guys saw Baphomet in the distance for your first time. While battling the demons in trying to attempt to save this city, a soldier named Ricardo saw Willow's light shine down and block the fiends from entering one of the doors. He put 2 and 2 together and managed to convince you guys to go up and help him ignite the light that is in the tower in the middle of the city. Willow and Emberly, you guys went up and you helped him with that. Along his way, Nincardo picked up Lorelei, another cleric, who also helps you light the city. Lorelei. You guys lit up the city. As soon as that happened, everybody began, all the enemies that is, and dead bodies began turning to ash. At one point, Budownik was the only one on the ground, pushing an army,
Single-handedly, mind you.
single-handedly, with an army, as he pushed out to the demons, and they began to fall. The 4 of you stood in the tower, managing to barely break free from the energy, Willow.
I wasn't even close to dying.
You guys then went to a strategic dinner briefing that was held by the king, along with all of the high-ranking soldiers. You went there, you had your food. You guys came up with a plan on what to do.
Did we?
Yep, and
No.
just to refresh you on that, you
Oh,
guys
yeah, it
wanted
wasn't much of a
to
plan.
wait for the light to go out. When the light went out, you were going to lure them in and ignite the light and see how
Oh, you
many you
mean
could
their
kill.
plan.
Yes,
Their
that's essentially the plan that happened. You guys managed to talk the king,
He
whose
squared.
name is
Lovely.
We're talking about the king?
Didn't our night end when we went
Quintar.
to bed and we're all fast asleep, right? Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
You guys
Right.
managed to talk to Quintar, the king
We're
of
standing over
Bultash,
the grave.
and you managed to convince him not to leave the city, just abandon it for the demons to take over. Instead, you managed to convince him to fight back. At that point in time, Lorelei came back, let you all know that there was probably only a good 6 to 8 hours left on the light, short of the time
We said
that you
6
guys...
to 10.
6 to 10 hours on the light, short of what you guys originally were anticipating as having a full day. You guys made the choice to go up and
I like how pointed out.
Yeah, go ahead. Keep
And
talking.
light-
Strong-handed into
Yeah.
enlighten this light.
Because someone,
I was ready to stand
Did
up.
it
How are
do
you
it
going to
very
put this
well.
out? I literally told her not to do anything.
you did not.
I did
Roll
too.
the tape.
He did.
I literally did say, don't do it.
Let's
It
put a
wasn't
pause
gonna
on
be
the
enough
bickering
time.
for a second.
No, we're
6 to 8
taking our
hours
mid-break
wasn't
right now.
enough
We're going to
time
argue
for us
this
to
out.
if we didn't get the 6 to 8 hours of sleep, it would be useless.
I have
for
another
us to
spell
even
slot.
sleep.
I could
Either
have tried
way.
again.
We had
Then
nothing.
why didn't you?
I
Why
told-
didn't you?
Because she jumped in immediately. I told Literally told her not to.
You guys made the choice to go add more time to the light. With the warning Lorelei gave you that it could be costly. You guys go up there. Voltaire lights his sword, attempts to do it himself.
No, my new glaive that I had.
You broke it.
The
It
glaive,
shattered.
as you touched it to the light, the power of the light shattered it into pieces in
Nat
your
one.
hand.
Yeah.
At that moment, Emberly decided she was going to light this light. As Emberly committed a magical spell to this light, attached herself to this light to save the city, add some more time for you guys to figure out what is going to happen. There came the moment where she needed to release from that energy, and unfortunately, with a number of bad rolls,
Oh God.
was unable to release herself
Really?
from that energy. As you guys watch the energy empty from her body, from her feet to her knees to her chest, out of her fingertips, as she turns to stone with one hand up in the air. As this happened, as the very last bit of light exited her body, Nazalith took a chance and attempted to capture the soul of Emberly.
Really showing our downfall here.
Coming very close,
Oh,
but
yeah.
again
Oh.
rolling just too low.
This
to-
is the
to
second
get
time you're
capture.
living this today.
Yeah,
Chris.
that's cool.
Seriously.
Just
quit
keep-
rubbing it in.
Paraphrase and repeat.
As
I'm enjoying it.
that failed, Nincardo and Lorelei, seeing the panic that is on everybody's faces, seeing Willow trap herself in a tube of wind with her sister for just a moment, a possible last moment on top of this tower.
You're enjoying
You
it too
guys-
much. Too much.
Fuck right off.
Isn't it got
Managed
that
to
cut
go
in your hand and they put
down-
salt on it?
Right.
No, he's just reopening
And
it. He's
squeeze a little
spreading the
lemon juice.
skin open. And just
Nincardo and Lorelei took you guys down to the
Literally
low
just said that.
Low Peretti Temple.
Sorry.
Literally.
Once you got to the Low Peretti Temple, you guys dunked the stone body of Emberly into the pond of Bulbe.
We got that one before.
And this is where we go
With
back to our
cleric
commercial.
magic, you guys had another opportunity to save Emberly.
How many
Unfortunately,
opportunities is
Yeah,
that?
oh, yeah.
unfortunately, your rolls were too low, along with Lorelei.
Oh, you're bleeding.
Holy shit.
Along with Lorelei, who
Do you have some salt?
yeah, just rub some of that popcorn in there.
Wow.
You guys, along with Lorelei, made some bad rolls. Unfortunately,
Really?
the cleric's pond did not help. In this moment, Nincardo, with a last-ditch effort, took you guys to the fields of the afterlife, where he dug what essentially is a grave.
No, it's not. It's a hole.
You guys dropped.
In a graveyard.
It's a reincarnation hole.
In a graveyard.
You guys dropped Emberly into this and
Placed.
began burying her
No.
Gently.
Gently.
with one last chance.
Oh God.
Nincardo had you all conduct a
Ow.
monk ritual on Emberly, and with again a number of bad rolls, you guys failed. Well, actually, that is exactly where we left off.
Was I
Specifically,
completely buried? Yeah.
you are
Damn.
That is the longest recap we've ever had.
ever had.
Because he's savoring it.
He's
gonna
loving
He's a
this.
sadistic
Y'all
motherfucker.
buried me with.
Specifically,
bruises.
where we left off.
Do you secretly want to murder your wife?
Nincardo rolled a 1. Nazlith
Gagging,
rolled a
choking,
15.
strong and bitter.
Voltaire rolled a 1. Budownik
good.
rolled a 10. And Willow rolled a 13. Which was the saving.
So only 2 of us
2 people saved
And 3 failed.
and 3 failed.
Does she get to roll in the grave?
Yeah. It's her soul. You're saying that Emberly's not
Does
trying
her
to get out of
will
this. Yeah,
pursue
what her
this?
will.
Where we are going to pick up at is as you guys are all holding hands and Nincardo is in the center of you guys on top of the soil that is covering your beloved Emberly.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
He begins humming a very slow, methodical prayer. You guys don't know what it is, but it is like an ancient monk prayer.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm going to cast Bless on him. Awkwardly.
We're just gonna touch
Yeah.
him.
I'm going to go.
Well,
up
you
with
all
my
are in a
hot-
circle, holding hands, so it's very easy for you to reach out and just touch him or do what you need to do.
Reach out and touch him.
As you guys sit here, Nincardo goes quiet. What seems like a couple minutes go by
Yeah, we can bring back a zombie.
of just pure silence.
She's waiting.
That's true.
You look up to see Nincardo's face, with his tears rolling down his cheeks. I don't think it is going to work today.
Does that mean that we can try again tomorrow?
She's with the temple now.
It's been fun. Good night.
How can you? Is there a way to access the souls in this tower?
No.
No.
Is there literally nothing we can do?
Right, we can not let her have done this in vain. That's what we can do right now. And should we come out victorious on the other side, then perhaps there are other means that we could try. But this is, correct me if I'm wrong, the most that we could have done here today.
We should have left this fucking city. We should not have stayed.
I stand by my
Emberly
original
died, and I
statements.
will not die for this.
You have an army of undead, but that's something that can wait.
I understand that you did not want to give your life for something you did not believe in, but
Emberly did not want to give her life for this. She wanted to
Emberly-
leave as well.
Emberly actually did go and willingly put her life on the line to try to save this city. So
Because she
Will
felt
you
she
not
had no
honor-
other choice.
Willow grabs a shovel and just starts digging up the grave.
And as you do that, Nincardo begins helping you.
Call him up as well.
I'll help too.
If you would like, Willow, we might not be able to do anything for your sister, but there's something we can do for you. If you would like.
If you mean that you can, like, make my sister come back to me, great. But I don't see how else you're going to be able to make this happen.
She's dead. I mean, sorry.
If you would like to at least say goodbye, we have those means.
Can I try to telepathically sense her?
As you attempt to telepathically sense your sister, there's nothing. You don't get any hint.
Sure.
If you all will,
Did we dig up her body?
Yeah, I want to dig her
Did
out.
we dig her? Okay.
Like,
if you all will dig her out, Willow and I will be right back.
oh, we're leaving.
Is
We'll
her
stay in the temple.
is her body made of stone, crystal? Is there any biological matter left to
It
it?
is purely stone. There's no
The
We could always
bracers?
saw her.
No,
The bracers
those
are
are
the-
the only things that didn't.
The bracers are the one thing that
Okay.
didn't turn to stone. Her staff turned to stone.
Yeah, right.
Everything on her head, her earrings, everything else is stone.
So we can't loot her corpse.
That's my thought.
I will
So
end
much
you.
shit that she had.
No, there's just literally nothing we can. Between the two of us, there's nothing.
There's nothing we
with
can do.
stone. Yeah.
So
Yeah, nothing.
as you three begin with Lorelei digging up the statue of Emberly, Nincardo brings you out and through this long, winding forest that is inside of this temple, if you recall.
Do I feel like he's gonna kill me?
Insight.
You can roll an insight check.
I'm just.
If
Someone's
it
taking
hasn't
me.
been an hour, my floating disc is still available. But if I need
That
to
was 18.
if I need to recast it, I
Doesn't
can.
matter. 7.
You
No.
had an 18 for a 7?
I had an 8. No. It was 18, and then it moved to 4.
Oh, I was like, damn.
No, you don't get any.
Sure.
You're not sure what's happening right now. I would say a little confused at the situation, and you're probably more thinking about your dead sister.
Makes sense.
But
Oh, he just said it. He just laid out the line right there.
Dead sister.
you follow him out into the woods, and it seems like you guys walk for a mile or two.
Does he have a shotgun in his hand?
It's very far. You guys
You're
get
not Old Yeller, don't
to.
worry.
I was gonna say.
Did he adapt
Phone
a
comes
southern
out.
twang out of
You
nowhere?
manage to get to this set
Come on,
of
Will.
cliffs, and when you do, there's a small little staircase chiseled away in these cliffs that goes up about 30 feet into a doorway. As you get up there, and it opens up into this beautiful, beautiful room.
Wish I could appreciate this more.
The side of the room that you entered has waterfalls on either side of the entrance that pull up, and the water kind of hangs out on that one side, and it looks like it almost drains out through the walls somewhere you can't really see outside of the room. On the far end of the room, there is 3 like cauldrons, but they're made of stone in the back. Each one has flames in it. Nincardo reaches out and takes your hand and begins to
Okay.
walk you towards those flaming cauldrons. As you guys kind of get to within about 10 feet of them, if you have something to say, this is where you're going to do it.
Can I have some privacy?
I will leave you here. Come back when you're ready.
I break all the cauldrons. I'm just kidding.
And he leaves you in this room by yourself. It's a pretty thin little room. I would say probably about 20 feet wide. It's about 60 feet long. You're kind of on the back side. There's the 3 cauldrons in front of you. There's the one on the right and left you can basically reach out and touch. Then the one in front of you is a little further out in front of you. They almost make like a small triangle. What does Willow do?
I go and I just like kneel in front of them and say, Emberly, what do I do? Do I try? Do I save you? What do I do?
As you kneel down in front of them and you begin talking to them, you see that they go from a small little flame to they begin turning a bright red, a red that you are very familiar with.
Why are we
And-
never together? Why is it that we always get separated in every single thing we
I know.
do?
And
It's
they
bullshit.
slowly flicker in some different patterns. And you hear a voice come back to you.
I'm too
It's
emotional.
different, but I don't think I could come back. I just deep down believe that there's nothing that will be able to bring me back. Find our father. I know we are very close. I'm very sad that I will never be able to meet him because I just know we are very, very close. Take my bracers and find him.
Is there anything you want me to tell Father for you?
Just tell him how we've been trying to find him and how we've never stopped loving him and searching for him.
Should I stay with the group or should I leave?
I want you to do what will make you happy, but no reason to be a loner.
Don't be a loner.
Don't be a loner. Don't be lame.
Only
Lil.
losers are alone.
They're our friends and we've came close to them, and it's nice to be with people you love.
And as you're hearing this and communicating, what you're looking at is as the fire kind of grows, it's about 3 feet. The only piece of her that you can make out is just her face as it kind of comes through the flames and communicates with you. And that's essentially how you were talking with her right now.
That's cool.
Did you want me to get revenge on anyone particular?
So matter of fact, with how you're talking right now, but
Yeah.
you have like a laundry list of things you want to go over.
Should I get revenge? Do you think I should get bangs?
Also, how do you feel about my car?
There's no reason to be mad. I did this knowing the consequences, and I just want you to be happy and don't dwell on me being gone. I'll always be with you.
I'll find you in the beyond.
I'll miss you.
I'll miss you!
She giggles awkwardly from the afterlife.
And I pretty much just gonna kill over and start crying.
Okay.
In a scream, like a horrifying
We will say that
banshee
you
scream.
have this conversation
Yeah, it's a ugly cry.
after you say your I love yous. It's about the time that you have. You gotta get back to what you're doing.
No matter any existence that we have together in our past lives, we will never be together.
I know.
Willow, we'll say that you sit there for a good
Star-crossed lovers.
20, 30 minutes gathering yourself, crying, and figuring things out. By the time you're done and you come back out, and you walk back through the forest of this temple, the group is, they're waiting for you. They have the statue of Emberly with them.
Wow, it says "fuck you, Chris" in her.
No, I'm trying to figure out how big the chest is. Can I wedge her in there? It's a chest of holding. So if I just kind of stuff her in,
The right angle.
You wanna
That's
slide
the
her
right
in?
angle.
You got a
pocket
fucking
of existence.
statue of
I am
dogs
going to
hanging
just
up.
say no.
Well, it
You-
says the chest is 4 foot long by 2.5 feet wide.
Yes.
What,
So-
how big is her statue in comparison to his grandfather's statue?
Oh yeah,
His
we're not
grandfather's statue looks like it was carved
Like a
out
maid
of
statue.
like a rock that was here at one point in time, right?
So is it like a lot
So
bigger?
it is monstrous. It's probably sitting 35 feet tall, 30 feet tall, whereas she is just a statue of herself.
Grandpappy was a real tall guy.
So she's 5'2", but it's a chest of holding, so I'm thinking like a magical chest. So if I could like wedge her in though,
How much does she weigh?
She weighs.
No, the statue.
Oh, well.
As a stone, we're gonna say 250 pounds.
And what's the carrying capacity of the car of the?
This is kind of awkward because I'm like not sure if
I don't really think that this is something that Amberly would want for her body, but
I'm just saying, but like, I mean,
Well,
at the same
fair.
time, you know, maybe I don't know if like I should say something to her or like, I feel like she's in a really dark place.
Do I hear
right
them?
now.
I
No, I'm trying to keep
Oh.
this conversation between just me and you.
I kind of feel like she blames me a little bit. Like,
No, I mean they definitely both. Your friend definitely blames me for this all. You know, they didn't
Right.
want to stay, and
No.
you know.
they did, and that's true.
But
Let me
my
just.
concern right now is that she's trying to stuff a statue inside of a box.
Right.
And I don't know if that's something that we should try
She's
to
just gone senile.
stop her from, or like, is she gonna start segmenting her, or
It
like?
has been a while, but I did read one time that there are like 5 stages of grief,
Oh,
and I think one of them is trying to stuff your loved one into another pocket of existence.
like,
I believe that's number 2 on the list.
so we're just kind of bouncing all around over this,
Right.
this 5 stages.
I think it's part of a little bit of
just a healing process.
the process.
So we should just. What you're saying is we shouldn't stop.
we
her.
should just be there. We should do the
Support her.
support
Just help
thing.
her.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Right.
And I go over and I pat Willow on the back.
I
And
kind of flinch away from him.
I ignore it entirely and just keep patting.
With an outstretched hand.
Child cat.
Lorelai, do you have some type of flame that could properly break down stone?
Willow, what are you looking to do?
I would like to not have Emberly's body be in a city that's about to be destroyed by demons. I'd much rather her be gone.
Will you allow me to try something?
Yeah.
Do you trust
Just,
me?
I mean, not a limb. But I trust you. Just,
Okay.
I don't want her to be all like,
I'm
what's that model?
A mannequin.
I'm gonna ask Voltaire to just like cut a corner off the base like this big. Can you like break off a piece,
Is there a base?
or just like a
Like,
little
like a
piece
piece of
of
the
it to break off?
clothing that would be stone?
I would say that there is a piece of clothing you could get from her from the back, like where her cape was.
Okay.
Is there
kind of
someone who is proficient in some type of stonework that if one fell hit doesn't crumble my whole sister would be greatly appreciated?
I was.
That's not.
Matthew,
a
the
DM
role
question.
player, would say that I shouldn't make rolls because I get 1s. But Voltaire is happy and he's excited to do this.
No, I think Budownik, are you proficient with a chisel? Or can you like take a piece off without creating one huge crack?
I'm good with Tinker's tools.
Well, he'd be even better with
You'd
it.
be even
Probably.
way better.
I'm just
Savage.
saying facts here, okay? You don't need to yell at me. Feel that. I'm just saying things. They're real.
I'm human.
Yes. No.
No, maybe.
Mike?
I wasn't listening.
She was just
I was just telling you.
Were you really?
Yes, we were waiting for you to
Fuck
respond.
I was looking at my spells.
I was asking if you're more proficient in potentially whittling a piece of stone off of Emberly
Okay,
without creating a huge crack in
Yeah.
her whole body and
Oh.
just
Were you saying that you wanted her not to be here?
that's not ideal.
Just
I mean,
grab a
turning her
piece of
into
it, please.
stone pieces is.
Just one piece.
Just
I just
a
need
small
one piece.
I will go around to where Emberly's hair is at its finest.
No, not her hair. You get piece of clothing.
I will
Well,
redact
actually,
my hair.
would it be
wrap
more
out
meaningful to you
instead.
to have a piece of her and not her clothing?
I have erasers.
I will find a button.
Something bigger.
I will find a
She has a bottom
leather
cloak.
strap dangly from her cloak.
Well, no, it's like a skirt thing.
Oh,
Here.
I will find a leather
Here you go.
dangly
Here you
strap
go.
thing
Here
from
you
her
go.
That's
It's the
Willow.
same
We
thing.
need
That's
Emberly.
Willow.
Fuck, why do I keep thinking that's me?
Because you're twins. It's hard to tell you guys apart.
Seven.
Okay, then I
Except for
will.
one's red, one's blue.
One's on fire.
Over here, back right corner, there's a small
Yep.
dingle dangle.
Of capes.
And I will go over with my tinkerer's tools and create a scribe mark across that one section in a nice arc to prevent it from shattering backwards. And I'll take out my
Guidance.
chisel and I will bang towards the clipped edge so that it breaks at that line. And if it does shatter, it shatters outward, not.
Yeah, roll a tinker's
Wow, yeah,
check for
yeah.
me with advantage.
You could add
Tinker's
a
check.
D4.
Yeah.
Natural 20
Oh wow.
Oh yeah.
Where was this last week?
Yeah, right.
Damn it!
plus 4 plus
I don't need your pluses.
10,
Yeah.
34.
There you go.
He brings her back to life instantly.
He goes
Instantly.
in her whole body.
He manages to
That's
give you
what- that's what-
exactly what you asked for,
Okay.
Netslip. With precision.
I asked for it. Are you gonna hand it to me?
Mike, people are talking to you.
Yeah. Are you here?
Engage.
Apparently I'm not.
Okay.
Usually everybody just yells at me. Nobody makes a request, so I just.
I'm going to take the piece and I'm going to cast Fabricate, so I turn it into a little ember, and then I give it to Willow
Mm.
as like a little totem for her to carry with her.
Little stone ember.
Yes.
You have a little stone ember with you.
You
That's
have
cute.
twine.
Yeah, no, it's
Can you
fine,
wrap
it's
this and make this into a necklace?
fine. Yeah, hold on. Oh, God damn it. I broke my fucking glasses. I'm never gonna get over that.
Wow.
There you go.
Can you do it?
Oh, sure.
Wow.
While she's making that in a necklace, I would like to take a short rest. Can we take a little short rest?
Yeah. What is the status of the light?
Bright as fuck.
Did
The
she?
light-
I mean, that should have bought like a fucking month.
Yeah, that should have lasted a long time.
So as you guys are there with
This was like a necklace, right? Oh, yeah. Do you mind?
Yeah.
as you are standing there with Nincardo and Emberly, Nincardo and yes, Lorelei.
Wow.
Nincardo lets you guys know
Thank you.
last time somebody sacrificed themselves for that light. It's lasted nearly 1,500 years.
Oh.
Wow. Right. So what you're saying is
I think we might have saved the city.
we could rightfully just walk out of it right now, and you guys would probably be good for,
Oh, wow.
for really the foreseeable future.
Do we know the status of the enemy's armies?
God
And as you guys kind of are talking about the enemy and their
You're
armies
welcome,
and looking around,
Am I good to take a short rest while they're
yeah,
trying? Okay.
we're just gonna say you guys are right out front of the temple, in between the temple and the tower.
That one was working better than Cromwell.
As you guys look around the town, it's almost obvious of what's happening at this moment with the enemy army. You guys are now surrounded by fungal forest. The wall that's behind you guys, the sheer cliff, has fungus now growing like down it. There's a certain point where it almost roll.
They're trying to starve us out. If they can't come in, they'll prevent everything else from coming in.
I will let somebody roll with the help of somebody else at advantage. Roll an either intelligence check for me or a perception
I
check.
will assist.
Intelligence +2 for me.
Beat the Nick.
Go ahead.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. 13.
Okay.
With a 13, you at least get
Better
enough
than a 5.
of a gist that you, the portion on the western side of this town that's up against the cliff, you can see where it appears that the cliff, which once used to be flat, is now beginning to protrude with fungal life.
Like they're trying to dome over us?
Like they're attempting to encase this town.
Like cut them off
So
from
they're gonna
everything else,
take us anyways.
or
and-
just cut off trade with everything.
I mean, they can
I
just
mean,
sap
yeah,
from what
no, either
it
way.
is, yeah.
Take your pick. 6 of one, half a dozen of another.
As you look to just south of the city from where you're at, there is now what appears to be like a 600-foot tower. It looks very similar to when you guys were in the canyon, the very large pillars that were created by whoever created that canyon. It's the exact same pillar as those, except there's just now one of them in there by its lonesome in the south. The very top of the pillar is also just like covered in a fungus. From your perspective, it's hard to really tell, but you recognize the coloring at least that is going up the tower as a fungus.
Does it seem like the light ends a certain vertical?
It does. There is essentially a lid on it. It's pretty small and it goes up quite a bit of ways, right? But yeah, it's covering 3 radial miles, I would say. It's a decently large city. It's not like you're just jaunting across the city.
But like, it's not like
seconds.
a beam like straight up to the sky or anything like that.
Straight above it is pitch black. As you guys are kind of sitting there, none of you except for Willow could even tell what time it is because it's just so covered with smoke and haze.
Nick, do you think perhaps you could like fashion some sort of very precise system of reflective surfaces that maybe could redirect some of that light upwards?
Cut the roof off the tower.
That is one thought, but I don't know if the souls in the tower would be all happy about us being like ka-chow on their tower top. But maybe a redirecting of the lights could help prevent them. Because it looked like they're trying to dome us in a little. I noticed that, didn't you?
That's rather interesting. Perhaps, I think maybe you might be on the right path, but coming to the wrong conclusion. What if we made, with a series of mirrors and consecutively smaller magnifying devices, we could probably concentrate a great deal of this energy into a tight space to create what the word laser beam comes to mind, and I'm not sure why, but a long distance beam of energy, of high frequency, high energy photons that would penetrate enemy forces and just absolutely decimate them from a distance. And if we needed to, switch back to the all-encompassing. But it might, in that period of time, reduce the ability of the city's defenses in certain areas.
So you're saying some sort of light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation?
That's exactly it. I didn't know light theory was your cup of tea. I'm actually very impressed.
I do a lot of light reading. You're welcome.
Oh my gosh.
Voltaire cast a new spell called Google
Yeah.
that helps him recall information.
Schmoogle.
It's a Google of recall.
A Google.
It's a cantrip.
A cantrip.
Is there a way
Whenever I'm in Wi-Fi range, it's a cantrip. I just got
that what if I threw a guiding
Bible.
bolt at a reflective mirror and you aim it properly?
I don't know how effective that would be. See, here's the difference, and I don't mean this in any kind of callous or unfortunate way, but your guiding bolt just doesn't have the same all-encompassing, life-consuming energy that your sister dedicated to this.
Oh,
She
power.
used the same thing.
I forgot to tell you, Willow. As soon as you were done speaking to Emberly for that last time with the 3 fire pits, you would have gained the cantrip Produce Flame.
Oh, dope.
And Emberly, we don't need you at the table any longer.
I was waiting for that earlier, and
I was
like,
just gonna wait until halftime.
Yeah, and then she was
get
gonna spoil
up,
like.
and then,
So it's up to you.
It was like, peace out, I'm going to sleep.
Going
You
night
got
night.
your dice tray out and everything.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I didn't know what was happening. So I
Debbie
just got
honestly
everything out.
was not sure what was going to happen.
Yeah.
So.
I'll just wait till halftime and then
Yeah.
just pack up and we'll do our
That's
goodbyes.
fine. I just want to let you guys know that's
And Zoe might not be back
It's
either.
officially good for
My
Zoe's
I
already
sit
packs
on
potion.
this side
These
of the
have to.
table all
But
by
you do have a
myself.
new cantrip, Zoe, so
Oh, thank you.
write that down somewhere as
Definitely
you're not
helps
going to be
me
able to
with
fit that
my
on your
sister
character.
being dead.
Should just be able to override and add it.
Oh, good. We have Flame now. I don't need her anymore.
Well, I mean,
Well,
we
he
have
took away a
flame, too.
whole
Yeah,
spell
yeah.
thing, so
I
he had to
always
fill me
keep
with
fireball
something.
on deck, you know.
It was a joke, guys. Outside a game, it was.
And as you guys are kind of discussing, Incardo walks up to you, Willow. Would you like a ceremony, or can we do anything?
Well, are you able to, like, properly. What's the word I'm looking for?
Consecrate.
Not consecrate?
Cremate?
Cremate stone?
I don't know how long we will be able to last
Take a mental
here.
picture and leave them.
I don't want anyone else to be walking around with an Emberly statue in their house.
10 years later, you walk in and she's the centerpiece.
Yeah!
Enjoy it.
Yeah, they're like, we gained this. This is one of the souls that are in the tower.
It's a
No.
fantastic art piece.
Yeah,
from the
no.
century.
We may be able to.
Do you have a smith or something that could
Schmelt.
properly break her down?
We could cremate her, essentially. Yes, if that's what you
That's what I would like.
want. We owe you our lives.
Thank you. Yeah, you owe me all your lives. Yep, that's what I would like. If you wouldn't mind.
Not at all. We will get that prepared
Thank you.
as soon as possible. We will also have to go over what we are doing in these dire times. We still have the option to flee if we would like, but if you could reconvene in the morning at the palace, that would be appreciated.
Of course.
Hopefully, I won't have to see you guys until then. Because if so, it will be a long night of fighting. And Incardo, along with Lorelei, leaves you out front of the tower, not too far from the inn you guys have stayed in while you were here. You would know that the back half of the city is still in okay shape, whereas the front half is in shambles and ruins. It doesn't seem like there's much of an effort around the town to rebuild at the moment. Everyone's pretty much piling rubble up to either filter the enemy into certain points as Budownik requested, or just for defensive positioning. Outside of that, the tone outside is very somber. And this is probably not a night that anyone in Bultash is going to get any kind of good sleep. But it is about 9 o'clock at night.
Nick, do you think that some sort of light refraction is something we could actually do?
I do, actually.
How long do you think it would take you to build something of that sort?
With the right tools, maybe 3 hours.
Do you
I would
think
guess.
it's something worth putting time into?
I don't think it's a bad idea. I'm not so sure.
Are you saying this in front of Willow and Asla?
If
Yeah.
you're there, yeah.
Okay. Budownik, how are you looking to create such a thing? Are you looking to make a giant mirror? What is this?
More of like a. What's the word that I'm thinking of at this point? It's like a. It's like a long armature with consecutively smaller mirrors in a line, almost like a tube or a cone, if you would, on some sort of. It could be wood for all we care, because we don't really care. that just needs to focus, a vast amount of radiant light with a series of, convex mirrors. We could funnel the light into a central point from multiple different angles into a larger mirror or into a large magnifying glass, which would then make it more focused on the next and we could make it, down to say an inch or half inch piece of magnification that would then, you're talking about taking this whole surface area of the tower and getting it down to a pinpoint. That has to hurt. That has to burn quick, and that has to burn extremely hot.
They were cremated almost instantly when the spread out light
Hit them.
started.
So imagine what would happen
a
if
concentrated source.
you were beaming them directly. I don't
With divine light.
with divine light.
The first target should be Lorad's forehead.
I
It should be
think it should
Baphomet.
be Baphomet. I agree.
I'm not so scared of this Baphomet. I wanted to fight him and see how good he actually was. But if you guys think-
Baphomet's one of the higher demons.
right, then I thought it would be a fair fight between the two of us. And then if you guys helped, it would be overwhelmingly in our odds.
A tower can take out one of our best. And you think that a demon won't?
I'm pretty strong.
Not strong enough to freaking defeat a tower.
I have a book on necromancy, right? Is what you gave me.
Mm.
I'm gonna pull it out and I'm gonna say, Voltaire, please do some reading.
Why? What is in here?
I don't think you quite understand this type of creature.
I don't think that there's any creature that's beyond me.
Just read it.
So it's under your
Please.
action. It's only I could add it for right now.
If I find the time, but the pressing matters are a little bit at hand right now. I don't think
Do not
Some
lose that book.
light reading is gonna be necessary. Would you like to hold on to it until such a time as is more?
If you're talking about going up against Baphomet soon, you should probably peruse that
I
sooner
get it.
rather
He's a
than
tough
later.
guy, but I'm a pretty tough guy too. Name
What's a
another
drink?
guy strong enough to fight in pants like these.
Are you going to read it or not?
I wouldn't mind reading it for you.
I'm just saying that I don't think I can read this entire book in the 9 hours that we have until something's going to occur.
I can.
Any
I do not doubt it.
information that you'd like to point out to Voltaire to kind of wisen him to the situation would be appreciated.
I'll give him highlights.
I like those magazines. They're quite a bit of fun. I'm pretty good at the picture matching game.
My God. I can't be here anymore.
Do you
Too many dad jokes. I can't handle it.
would you like to get a drink?
Is that something you can do right now? Aren't you building this beam tower?
Well, before you ever start putting it together, it's best to have a good plan. And I have to say that I always work better when I'm just a wee bit knockered.
I cannot deny that, but there is a fine line between a bit knockered and screaming about your dad who you don't even know very well. So you have to really kind of call that line and write it well. Okay.
I think, given the circumstances, I can manage.
Well, then I will join.
Lorelai.
Lorelai and Main Cardinal left both you guys standing there.
Apparently, I'm just Captain not paying attention today, so
So yeah.
Captain Oblivious over here.
No, you're saying Lorelai. You look around, you're gone.
Well, to the nearest pub then.
Can we have a quick detour?
I'm just here to help, and I will.
Maybe 20 minutes. I mean, you
Pull
can
out.
stay, but
I'm just gonna start drawing.
Willow, I apologize to ask you for assistance on this, but I want to be prepared next time we encounter an enemy. I recently read through that holy book, radiant book, whatever you want to call it, and I think I might understand your spell, guiding bolt. I was wondering if you wouldn't mind seeing me practice it a couple times and giving me some pointers.
You probably definitely should know a lot about it, so yeah, I wouldn't mind.
Okay. I would like us to just find a spot that's already destroyed, so we're not gonna destroy further areas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Easy enough.
I show the techniques, flip the wrist.
Yeah. You honestly don't
Center
have to
of
go too
gravity.
far away from the little inn and tavern you guys are at.
Yeah.
The battle line is probably 200 feet in front of that. So it doesn't take you very far of a walk from the tavern and inn you guys stay at. And where your cart still is, by the way. Yeah, you guys spend a couple hours in the night going through your practices. Roll an Arcana check for me while you just curious.
Can I help her since I'm helping
Yeah.
her?
Would that be an advantage then?
Yep.
+7 to my Arcana. Bow.
So, bam.
Why am I not seeing it? Oh, it's up here. I also have high arcana.
Who would have thought the spellcasters have higher arcana? Sorry.
We're intellectual.
21.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Fail.
Uh,
Amberly dies again.
the first couple times you try,
Just don't around your neck. Just poof.
it takes a couple, right?
Crumbles into dust.
It takes a couple little pointers from Willow here and there, but you manage to catch on very quickly on how to use that spell. I'm gonna say it's close to midnight at this point. What are you all doing? Well, what are you two doing while they go practice?
The B2s.
We were
B squared.
drinking, right?
Yeah, I went to
Yeah.
find a bar to.
The little
perfect
inn
this.
that's right there that you guys are staying at, it's almost like if you can go grab your own beer, it's yours kind of deal right now. They're kind of in like,
Bartender might be dead.
right, they're in like fucking cleanup mode, helping out people mode, but they're,
I'm leaving a little thing of gold for every drink I take. And
Yeah.
Same with Budownik.
you
Any
will
drink he
notice that
does.
there is a little jar of gold up at the front, or mostly silver coins up at the front, where it seems like you're not the only one.
Yeah. Okay.
Common theme there. But yeah, and you two spend the night drinking while your companions are practicing their spells. Is there anything you guys would like to do before you go to
Yes,
bed?
I believe that I am coming up with a pretty solid game plan for this.
Okay.
I'm thinking of like basically like a ring around the tower. Do you want me to start talking about this now, or do you? Okay.
Yeah.
So like a ring around the perimeter of the walking space of the tower, and a sliding mechanism that would roll on it, like a small cart that would follow the ring itself, right? Like almost like a train track.
360 no scopes.
Yeah, exactly,
Yes.
exactly. And then on that base, which would be pretty substantially wide, it would probably be about a quarter to a third of the circumference or the radius of the tower, having several arms coming off of that would end about waist level, with a pivoting point, and then from there a set of handles that would allow you to rotate again, right? So we have 2 points of rotation around the tower, and then at the pivot central point, and then on top of that, an X-shaped structure with a solid base, and like basically above you, the ability to kind of help angle, with the X can kind of collapse a little bit if you pull on it the right way, right?
And then X is gonna
With
give
a
it to you.
series of magnifying glasses. This is just design phase right now. A series of magnifying glasses down to the sharpest, smallest, most focused one that I can. All of them in a very beautiful and symmetrical line. And then this is going to be the hardest part, is trying to come up with a way to, based on the amount of tension, I would assume. Yeah, nope, I would do it. I would have there be an anchor point in the track where there's a spring attached to a rope, and that rope, based on how far away you're
long as he
moving
knows
with
what
your
he's talking
I
heart,
know, I'm like,
it would cause
Christy knows what's
tension
going
to that spring, which would then articulate several gears and latch mechanisms that would allow the convex mirrors that I plan on putting up on the perimeter to adjust their positioning to absorb the most amount of light and hit the first radial magnifying glass, no matter where it's at, based on the amount of tension I'm putting on it, with probably a second hand to help me fine tune adjustments.
Yeah. So I'll say that you spend your night
Yeah, no, this feels really good. I like this.
Just Galileoing these plans away. Yeah.
You guys laugh. I'm like super proud of that compliment.
Yeah. You are just going nuts in your bedroom as Budownik, making these plans. Are you doing anything for the rest of your night?
Having picked up a little bit of tinkering here and there, being with the Budownik, I would be lending an eye and helping where I could, and I would be trying not to be in the way, but also be helpful if I could be.
Okay. Yeah, we'll say that just you guys have a day.
I would like to meet up with them before we go to bed.
Same.
Yeah, very easy. So what I'm going to say is that when you, Nazlith and Willow, arrive back at the tavern, you don't find them downstairs drinking. You go back up to your rooms. They both are in Budownik's room as you enter, and they are working diligently with each other.
Oh yeah, so diligent.
Oh my god!
That's right, you're doing so good,
They seem to
Budownik.
be getting along great. It's a moment you've yet to see of them.
Right,
What time
and
is it?
see, so if you saw right here, this is
11:30 to midnight.
This is
Okay.
another carrier opinion that would allow for vertical adjustments, because I'm assuming that if we just point it at one area, then all we have is that circumference based on where we're at.
Right, so you're increasing our range of
Exactly.
mobility.
If we're
right.
able to lift up the front end or bring down the back end, I
Right.
think honestly lifting up the front might
Oi.
be a better choice.
You guys gonna go to bed anytime soon?
No, I actually made these for you. Little quick thing. I'm sorry that I couldn't get them to you before, and I will put a pair of boots in front of you that are your size.
What are they?
Will, a while back, you asked me a particular question about boots that might be able to quicken your step.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's thank you.
Mm.
This is great.
How
It's
are
like
you doing, Willow?
Excuse me.
How are you doing?
How am I doing?
Well, I know it's probably not good, but
Hey,
are
so
you
did
okay?
Yeah.
do you think these mirrors are too, like, high? Do you think we should adjust them at all, or
We need to find a way to test their range and their scope. Almost if we could do some sort of maybe small scale model of this, and then really
Well, it
fine-tune
sounds like we
that.
have about 1,500 days on our side, or 1,500
Put them
years
on.
to, really.
Well, unless they decide to bubble
no place
over
like
and
home.
like.
There's
I
no
mean,
place
even
like
still,
home.
we have, 3, 4. They attend you immediately. Unless we have, less than a week's worth of rations in the city, which I believe we have more, we might actually be able to make this work for us.
I think that it is worth the time to do.
I interrupt you guys. How do you feel about taking a brief night off from the city?
In what way do you mean?
I agree.
I pull out my staff and I say,
Whoa!
Whoa! Not
You
say
say-
that.
And I say,
I mumble.
Willow's over here drawing
falls
his
over
face.
the ground.
I pull out my staff and I mumble, life and luxury, and a door opens. And I step through. I cast Magnificent Mansion.
Yeah.
And I invite you guys in.
I go
Do you
in.
think we should take the break, or
I walk right in.
are we at the pivotal
You can
point?
bring that inside, and I think you'll like what you see.
I will
Spooky. What is this?
follow cautiously.
I go in. I know exactly what it is. I go in. Yeah.
We enter. It is a massive mansion. Tons of rooms, fireplaces, very luxurious furniture everywhere. There's servants inside, about 100 of them. And I just kind of thumb my way back to you guys and I say, anything they want, help them with. I point to you guys.
What the hell? How long does this last?
24 hours.
And you just
Notice she only does it after you're dead.
yeah. And when the door closes, it just poofs away and no one knows where you're at.
It is, I can tell you.
This is is crazy.
The entrance shimmers faintly and is 5 feet wide and 10 feet tall. You and any creature you designate when you cast a spell can enter the extra-dimensional dwelling as long as the portal remains open. You can open or close the portal if you are within 30 feet of it. While closed, the portal is invisible.
Wow, that's cool. Dope.
Yes. And as you guys enter, you do see the 100 little housekeepers there to help you guys out.
I know, this is a big one.
Sticking with the
He's like, what do I do?
Sticking with the Nazlith theme here, I'm going to go ahead and say that this tower, as you guys are kind of sitting here in this front room, I would imagine that it's mostly stone, a very dark stone, almost like a Gothic-looking castle as you enter. This is kind of your free reign, so if you want to add anything, let me know.
I mean, you can describe it the way you want. I want to give you, as DM, I want you to have a little bit of creative.
Well, this is yours, so
I know.
if you want something to be,
spell,
this is
man.
all
You describe it. I don't know what the
Listen,
fuck it
man.
is. You describe it. I don't know what the fuck
I
it is.
delivered some sulfur out of
I'm
my
gonna say, if
titty.
you're gonna give me free reign, I'm gonna use it. But if
Okay,
you
so
want
let me
to
read the spell to you.
customize whatever you want.
Just
Read
so
that whole.
everyone.
All right, 3 hours later.
No.
This spell's pretty cool.
It contains sufficient food to serve a 9-course banquet for up to 100 people.
Damn.
A staff of 100 near-transparent servants attend to all who enter.
Get the fuck away from me, ghost.
This is literally so random.
You just look at the visual appearance of these servants and their attire. They're just in tuxes and they
And
look
they can be
very,
whatever you want. They can
Yeah,
be
they're just
cats.
in.
They can be.
They're just
What a
very
weird spell, right?
nondescript. I don't really have any
Yeah.
particular.
No
I'm
face.
going to call every one of these butlers Gerard.
They can fetch things, clean men, fold clothes, light fires, serve food, pour wine, and so on. They can fetch
And
things.
I'm going to ask them if this is Sparta.
Can they bathe
Sing for me,
me?
boy.
Yeah.
Sing.
Okay.
To Cleopatra from this bitch.
I want some, like, Phantom of the Opera stuff.
Right.
So
I prefer the little bit of yodeling.
Every now and then I want to hear some, circus music.
okay, so I tell you guys, essentially, pick your rooms, pick your own
Every now and then.
workspaces. You can kind of do whatever you want in here, and the servants will attend. If you're hungry, if you're thirsty, they will.
Can you, make media and material? Can you, can I, be get me a 5-foot board and they'll
You
go
will need
get
to
me...
bring it in here. If you try and pull any of these furnishings out, they will disappear when the
Right,
spell
but,
ends.
if we're talking about mock-ups and, refining an excellent
Oh.
idea, can we make mock-ups? Can I will parts of your tower into existence to look like the tower from out there?
You can't, but I can.
Could you? And could you give me, a Home Depot site of the room where I could just get the resources and
Nazla
things
walks
A
down the
dwelling.
hall.
No, not a Home Depot. It's a dwelling.
Improvement center?
Yeah, something like that.
Nazla walks down the hall, pushes the door open, and you just find
Yes.
raw material in there.
Oh, that's absolutely wonderful.
Just remember, you can't take it out.
No, I just need, build it once, they say, and you can build it forever.
Who said that?
Whoever said
Very
that,
wise person, shut up!
I'm pretty sure he said that one night when he was drunk.
I snap my
Go
fingers,
for
and one of my
myself.
servants brings me a glass
You would.
of wine, and I say, "I'm going to bed. Have fun." And I walk down the hall. And as I'm walking by, I tell you, pick a room.
This
Do
is
what you-
absolutely fine.
The wine is definitely Moscato, by the way, because anything drier and cheap.
Hey, I love Moscato. This is.
I love
Oh, we
Moscato
do too.
too.
Oh.
That's why we picked it.
Yeah.
So Budownik, we know that you are going to be jamming away in
Right.
that room.
Gerard, can I get some lasagna? It's been such a long time. Thanks, dear.
It's an actual edible food?
Yeah.
Yes.
Damn.
Fucking ghosts walking
Over
around.
100 people.
But, can we actually consume it and
Yes.
we feel food?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It's not as soon as we leave, we're like,
Oh.
oh, we're starving.
Yeah.
Amberly
Okay.
doesn't, but...
Yeah, this bitch is stoned.
You are ripped. You're so stoned right now. It's crazy.
Speaking of which, you're
Oh.
just kind of sitting by the cart at the moment.
What are you talking about?
Are you talking about
Right.
me?
He's gonna role play.
No,
Well,
yeah,
attended
they said that they
artistic
would take
statue.
her to go do the funeral proceeding stuff.
Yeah, that's gonna take a day. They gotta get it set up.
I would have dragged her stony
Yeah.
carcass.
Okay.
Oh my
We can
god.
wreck on it. I'm just.
I'm just like, I would have brought my undead into
There's
the,
some
to the
child
mansion
staring
with
at
me
it
too,
like,
and just
I
stuck
don't
him in a
get
back
it.
room
Yeah,
away from
definitely.
everyone.
Definitely. So as you guys are in this mansion for the night, we're gonna go ahead and say that Budownik is working diligently in his room. Willow, what are you doing?
I'm just going to find where there's a fireplace with maybe some furnishings. Maybe not particularly go into a room because I don't want to be alone.
That's what it is.
I'm pretty much gonna find a fireplace, maybe curl up into a blanket and
Is there
start
more
reading
slide here?
the book until I fall asleep.
Easy enough. You kind of walk through the main halls of this mansion and come up to essentially where the large living room area is. Go down the hall, there's a couple little rooms. The hall opens back up into another large living area. This one almost looks like a book nook. It's got a nice little fireplace sitting there, a beautiful carpet on the floor, a couple chairs in front of the fireplace where you can sit and read if you would like.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of lay on the ground and read.
You're going to read your...
the book of necromancy.
The one
Just-
I loaned her.
Just read footnotes and then till I fall asleep.
Okay.
Looking to get better hickeys.
What? What?
Necromancy.
Oh my
Oh my
I
god.
was waiting for you.
Jeez.
Okay.
So stupid.
You're on it
God.
tonight, Jesus.
But, oh,
Jeez, man.
It's like 4 dad jokes in a row. Okay. Nazlith, you went to your room with your wine. You're just going to bed.
I might read some more of the Radiance book.
Okay.
But at some point, I only need 4 hours of sleep, so I'll make sure I get that in at some point. But
Yeah.
or trance, whatever you want to call it.
Voltaire.
I would have
Wine
been
glass
helping
and candle the whole
Budownik for a
time.
little while, but I eventually would have sauntered off to her room to find some sleep.
Roll a roll a charisma check for me.
My charisma's pretty good, so
That's what Budownik said, and then he failed.
hold on. Just a regular charisma.
Bad.
Oh yeah, so good. 10.
Budownik, roll a charisma check for me.
Charisma?
Okay.
Oh, we got the fucking chick hanging out in my skull again. Wasn't I cured of this? I was cured of this. I got a greater restoration.
Yeah, I gave
cast
them.
on me.
Yeah, both of them.
I love you guys. This is not what you think it is.
Oh, okay.
So, are we falling in love with each other?
Oh
Brown
shit!
chicken, brown cow.
What'd you roll?
18.
18.
Do it to him, Chris. Do it to him.
Well, I was gonna kind of figure out where this was going based on the rolls. But you guys have a pretty easy night.
I wasn't cured of this.
I wouldn't say there's any. It's a quiet, somber working night, and you end up getting tired. And
Every now and
you
then
end
a
up
pencil
going.
rolls my way and our hands touch.
You see his arms flex as he's like.
No, there was the possibility for something.
There's the
but,
eye
no.
contact and the break.
You're
It's
so
been
good.
too soon.
You're so
Lady
good with
Notes.
your hands. I forgot about that.
It's too soon.
Well,
My wounds are too fresh. I don't know if my heart can take it.
My heart burns a little too bright tonight.
I hate you guys.
It's like a Brokeback Mountain
Yeah, you go back to your room after helping
Brokeback Mansion.
Budownik
That's what I'm talking about.
to the wee hours. To a point where if you guys want to get your 8 hours of sleep, it's going to be like 10 a.m.
That's fine. I'll sleep till 10.
Huh? What?
To get you your 8 hours of sleep, it'll take you till about 10 a.m.
Yeah, no, I probably wouldn't stop working until I was happy
Yeah.
with it. And I'm really rethinking that spring system on the ground. I didn't like it. So I think what I'll do instead is a series of pressure plates that as you roll over them,
Classic
pause.
pressure plates.
you know, well, it's just like one side, you know,
Yeah.
it's just like there's like a tipping scale almost, and as you push down on that one side, it would cause the mirrors and to focus on that one area, and then you know if you moved away from it, then they would relax, and then the next one would take over, and you'd have it's just like a series of consecutive pressure plates around that when you push on them would cause the mirrors to adjust in that position. I think I like that more. Maybe not. Maybe I'll try something else, but
And with that thought, and you guys all
I never get to just
going to bed, you guys can have your 8 hours of sleep. You wake up in the morning, and we will go to our little halftime break there. Give us 10 minutes. We're gonna go.
Anybody wants to say goodbye to Emberly now?
Go
is the time
pee
to do
and
it.
get a drink. Yeah, rip Emberly in the comments.
I don't want to rip her.
Rip
Oh, fine.
Emberly in the comments.
Rip and
Oh.
tear.
R.I.P.
Emberly.
R.I.P.
Oh.
that pussy.
Yeah, Emberly, this is
I know
your
that's-
last
thank
time
you.
on camera, so wave goodbye. As we all love you.
Bye, Emberly.
Bye.
I wish there was finally a story. heard that.
Yeah,
Sounded
felt
amazing.
good.
It did sound rough. We are back without Emberly as she has
Sound.
passed to the other side. Debbie's still alive though.
Thank God.
But Emberly, gone.
How long do those temporary hit points last?
We took a long rest. I assumed mine was gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, they removed.
You guys would have woken up in your mansion about 10
I'm so
o'clock in the
woke.
morning. You would know that you have about an hour
I know.
until you were asked to meet back up with the king and the group to go over
You said
what
it's 10
is
o'clock?
happening. Willow would know it's 10 o'clock.
Okay,
If
so
you
I
were
would.
look outside, it
What?
hasn't changed.
Oh, I'm good, thank you.
It's still very dark outside.
So I would snap my fingers and have my servants bring us a course of breakfast.
Yeah,
And they just come.
easy
You
enough.
can do it
Um,
by yourself.
You guys are
Hey.
in the morning served a rather good breakfast. Pretty much whatever you guys would like. You will request from the
Asparagus.
servers, and they will come bring it out to
Lots
you.
of asparagus.
What?
It cures hangovers. It's like, there's like a chemical.
Just don't pee too
Well,
close to me later on.
that's
if you
actually-
cannot
I
find
lack-
a
I
bathroom.
lack
How many
the-
bathrooms are in this place? Is there one for every bedroom?
Yes.
Oh, that is fantastic. What a huge place. And the plumbing system must be really impressive.
Complex, to say the
Yes.
least. It's
Lots of
actually
tunnels.
teleporting it to another dimension, so every time you take a shit, there's just somebody walking, and the pocket opens up, and they just get blasted. It was a huge problem back in the 50s, but it seems to have been resolved for the most part. But nobody knows where it goes now.
God, how far did I get in the book? Could I give some notes?
In
of
the
necromancy?
necromancy book that you just picked up, this is your first night reading that one.
Yeah.
You're still about halfway through the other.
Could I give him some details of the book that I have?
You could. You're just trying to give it full.
Voltaire giving. I'm like literally in my notebook, writing some information down, ripping it out, and giving it to him.
Yeah, easy enough. And I'm not sure what you're trying to get to him, so you can let me know that in a second. But I would say that the book that you had read, fairly simple necromancy book. It goes over a couple of very basic spells. It goes over cult use of necromancy and the importance of necromancy and the history of necromancy and why it was traditionally used with some of these smaller groups. It essentially, I think the important part for you to gain out of it would be that it's essentially a magic that has the ability to use people who don't have souls, right? You're using the shell of their body to kind of do what you need, if you will. So whatever you'd like to share in that, you can. But it's a pretty simple necromancy book.
Cool.
Nothing too crazy.
Give the
Oh.
footnotes.
I was really confused. I don't know if I should break on stream or not. Is this something we talk about on stream or not?
I give the footnotes to Nazlith and say, here's some of the information I have from the book if you want that for Voltaire.
Okay, I'll just kind of look it over. Voltaire, I want you to look over these notes.
Baphomet is a big bad guy. I knew this already. Okay, what? He is a very so am I. He is unkillable. Yeah, well, I haven't been killed yet either, so theoretically, I'm unkillable too.
It's not about Baphomet.
I thought this was supposed to be about Baphomet.
Wait, I don't
Is
know
he
if you know this,
dyslexic?
He's reading at like a third grade level.
Yeah, it's
I just wanted you to have a basic understanding.
Was it not supposed to be about Baphomet?
no, right?
Did you copy any from your book down, from the other one down?
No, I just the book you gave me about necromancy.
She was trying to teach me about Baphomet.
You want to know about Baphomet?
That was her whole thing, right?
Oh, I'll stand on a soapbox. Ask me any question you want about Baphomet. Sorry,
It's okay.
I thought the assignment was to read the book and provide footnotes.
Produce a
I
book
just
report.
thought you were interested in the necromancy.
Oh, definitely. I mean, yeah, I dabble in some, but not thoroughly.
So you have like a whole primer on.
Do not try and take on
necromancy.
Baphomet by yourself, is the key point here.
Look, I don't know. I mean, we are better as a group. This is true. I have seen it. We do well, but if I'm in the dark alley and Baphomet's coming at me, then I'm probably going to try and take him out.
Give me your lunch money.
Exactly. I don't
I mean, you
give
can
in to
definitely
bullies.
try, but he will use your deep, darkest fears to control you.
I don't really have that many fears. I'm a big, strong man.
I've heard you talk in your sleep.
And what do I say?
What shall we do next?
We need to finish our meals and get going.
All right, let's go.
Bultash, did you finish your project?
Yeah, I had a bit of trouble trying to decide whether a spring-loaded pulley system was better for moving the concave mirrors, or if perhaps the pressure plate system, which seems to have some distinct advantages, but may not be quite as accurate at times. It's difficult to say at this point, but I think maybe, if I used a system of both, in fact, now that you mention it, if I use counterweights on a pulley, I can actually influence more
Think we lost him.
accurately.
I snap my fingers
Right.
and have the servants start picking up dishes. And
Yeah, definitely.
I thought it was rather
Anyways,
interesting,
Bultash,
but I
keep
guess-
going. I'm listening.
No, it's fine. I see that fine arts are appreciated.
It would
but the
appear to
more-
me, in my opinion, I think accuracy is probably very key to being effective when trying to amplify the light.
Which is why he was thinking,
Any
if we use
variance
a
in the-
counterbalanced weight
Mhm.
on a pulley, each one, maybe two pulleys even, each time the mirror moves, we could actually, control more accurately.
I start walking
where
towards
it
the door of the
lands
front of the
its focal
mansion,
point.
and I say to Badane, I don't mean to be offensive, but I really have no idea what you're talking about, and I'm more interested in the results.
Very few do, my dear.
And I walk out the door.
I will follow behind.
Yeah, definitely.
Does this place exist without Nazleth?
Yes.
Okay.
And I have the undead come with me as well.
Okay.
She doesn't marching out of an invisible door.
In your guys' hotel room.
Right.
Yeah. So, are you guys going to the morning briefing?
Yep. Might as well, since none of us, like the rest of the two, don't want to leave. We're at 50%. So.
Well, Bultash, do you think we should follow them?
Do you have any knowledge of transportation spells or anything like that such?
I do not. That
I
was
did
my
give you.
sister's forte, unfortunately.
Right.
What are you two doing? Are you guys following?
Bultash, you said you heard me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I've made my feelings on that rather clear. You don't fuck with my homeland. This is the last vestibule of hobgoblin civilization that I know of.
No. I think they're going to the meeting, the war meeting. I'm not talking about leaving the town. We've already made
Right.
that decision.
Yeah.
But there's a meeting this morning that they were going to.
No, wouldn't miss it for the world.
Okay, so we should probably go after them now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm sorry. Sometimes I get a little moody after a drink.
Right, you had a little bit too much. I think you had one drink over the line.
You
were talking about
really
your father
not
a little
helping
bit
as much as I
last
thought
night.
it would.
Well, maybe we should go after them then.
I'm already on my way.
Okay.
I don't know why we're not already there now.
Definitely. As
feel
you
like
guys
we would-
open up the doors to leave and you follow Willow and Nazlith, as you open the doors, you will see that there are, it's about the time of the morning that the shifts of soldiers are kind of changing. As you watch, the line changes out in the distance and begin to make your way towards the town hall where you had your original briefing with the group of chancellors and their leader. You make it back. When you open the door, they're already underway with their meeting. Quintar kind of leading the group. Again, Quintar is the king of Bultash. You would see both Lorelei and Encarta there, along with a handful of other high-ranking officers, and they have a board out in front of them that is appears to be like a scaled down version of their city, and they're kind of moving little miniature pieces to kind of figure out where they're going to put their fronts and how they are going to end up fighting this thing. They go over, as you guys are sitting there, a plot on like their oh shit moment if they need to leave, like what is the point that we leave kind of deal. They discuss that a little bit. And then they kind of get to the part where of coming up with a plan. And once they start talking about the actual plan that they're going to implement, it becomes rather quiet in the room.
Right, well, I suppose that leaves the floor open for us. We have limited resources, and we have a finite amount of time before whatever is encompassing this city encroaches upon the tower itself.
Did we notice any like massive like progression of that, by the way?
As you woke up, you would notice progression, but not massive.
Okay. It's not like alarming, like, good lord, we have 2 hours until they've covered
No.
us. Okay.
Like they're getting there, but it's obviously going to take them a week-ish.
Okay.
I think we can all agree, based on the displays of aggression around the city, that if there was an opportunity to escape, we probably passed through that. So, our next best option is probably to fight like our lives depend on it, because quite frankly they do. Our previous arrangement to draw enemy forces into the proximity of the tower may yet be fruitful. However, we did discuss the opportunity to create and focus a weaponized version of the tower to target specific individuals. However, it would require a great deal of reflective and magnifying surfaces from the city. I don't know who has what available, but we do have some rough plans to come up with a device that we might be able to use with more precision than just the focus beam of the tower, which may also increase the likelihood that our opponents would make an attempt on infiltrating the city.
The whole idea that we're trying to do is we'd like to isolate the army's generals, or perhaps the leaders. I do not know if they call themselves a king or whatever, but we'd like to isolate the lords. Thank you, lords, and then try to take them on one by one, because that would be much more doable than trying to take out an army. But do you think that we can finish that weapon in time?
It would take manpower, and it would take the availability of
The resources necessary.
exactly.
That might be their biggest struggle there, is trying to get all,
We have
not only mirrors, but the proper ones that would reflect the way we need it to reflect.
I mean, we can make all sorts of surfaces out of all sorts of things. A polished shield could act as a focal concave to reflect light into a centralized position, almost like if we were to call it a satellite, if you would. But from there, it's a matter of making the actual device and seeing if we can long-range focus into a single target.
Did you finish the miniature one that you were working on last night?
It's rough, yes.
Did you test it at all? Do any kind of tests?
The nature of that tower limited my ability to test the efficacy of it, but based on the scrabblings of a what I consider to be a rather well endowed, intelligent man. Yes, it should work just fine. I imagine we'd probably have somewhere in the neighborhood of 600 to 700 feet before accuracy begins to wane by maybe a margin of plus or minus 2 or 3 feet.
Well, luckily it does seem that there's enough of the army out there that accuracy up to a certain point isn't super important. Maybe as they get closer to the tower or something, but they shouldn't even be able to pass within the light.
And the light would be greatly diminished by the use of such a tool, which would allow them to encroach closer and closer and maybe open up an opportunity for us to...
Is that your understanding, that the light will fade as we use this weapon?
No, what I'm saying is I will be, instead of the light radiating outward, I will be capturing light from all sides of the tower and focusing it on one single point.
So we won't have...
So
full
all
coverage.
surfaces on one, you're talking something about the size of a quill head, but literally all the light in that one.
We could
Small
use that
area.
to our advantage, actually. So if we capture all the light and focus it onto one point, they might mistakenly think that
There's
we
something
can't.
wrong with the tower.
Right. We could damage as much as we can with the little light, and then maybe have some sort of like quick release on the mirrors,
That's a built-in
drop.
feature.
and then
Those counter rates we spoke about earlier this morning actually would provide an ample opportunity if they were hung on the front end. Dropping them at one time would cause all the mirrors to flare outward,
and then
and
the
there
city
would only
to
be a
be
small
engulfed.
shadow cast by the mechanism itself.
And as you guys are having this conversation, Quintar and the other commanders are listening in. And Quintar kind of leans in. So you're telling me when in use, we're going to have to fight like hell.
Yes, but one person, one otherwise unequipped person, could stand at the top of the tower and utilize this as a resource, a devastating weapon against our enemies.
It is part of our plan. If we isolate this one beam, the army will then charge us, right? But if we put all of our defenses mostly around the tower, we draw them in, then we drop that weapon, and bam, we get the massive effect of the tower activating and engulfing the city in light, causing a similar effect to the first time when we incinerated many hundreds. It is a bit of a trap, in a way, while also hopefully being able to do some really good damage.
The hope is to cut the heads off snakes.
I will send in Gardo to go get our best engineers. And we'll meet with you immediately after this. We will get underway.
Thank you, my liege.
I will also give you all a blank map. You can help with Nincardo go over where we are going to put up walls, how we are going to funnel the enemy in where our points of attack are. We will need that by the end of the day.
We could use this time during the week to try and create almost paths through the city to
Absolutely.
funnel them. Maybe a sort of maze.
It doesn't need to be anything elaborate, just something that makes it more preferable to keep
Put
moving
them
forward
where we
instead of
want them.
spreading out.
Yes. Give them a clear path to where we want them to be.
You will be partnered with a couple of our commanders. They will go over what you need. Sounds like we don't have much of a choice if we want to stay here.
Unless you have some sort of super secret hidden weapon that we don't know about. No, this is probably our best choice.
You're using it as we speak.
It was a great weapon yesterday when it killed our friend, I recall. It it is by her light alone that we will even have this opportunity to win.
We can't thank her enough for that opportunity.
I was thinking maybe you could like,
Let it not go to waste.
you know, that statue that is out front of Budanik's grandfather.
Right, that's not
Theoretically,
confirmed.
you're right. That is theoretical. Maybe you could do one of those to Emberly as well, in homage.
I
Should
think
this-
if our city does survive, the tower, if history is true, will stay lit for quite a long time. Maybe it is time we rename the tower after her.
That seems a fitting tribute. Willow, how do you feel about it?
That's nice.
I think she likes it.
Again, I'm sorry for your loss. Hopefully we're all here tomorrow and the day after to continue thanking you.
I'll go ahead and walk away, just up against a wall and just watch.
We can break here. Sounds like we have some busy time ahead of us. I'm not sure how much longer we will have, so just be prepared for anything.
We need to know the second that something happens, if something does happen.
The bell will ring shortly.
And I'm talking also with the light. If something changes with the light, we also need to know that. That is paramount.
You, I'm sure, will be the first people to know, along with Lorelai. And they break off from their little breakfast briefing. There's a small moment at the end where a couple of the commanders come up to you guys and kind of introduce themselves. Budanik, you're pretty familiar with Zeltorian and Delphurus, two that you have already met and got to help fight with and do some things on the ground with. But they're essentially at your guys' disposal. Before our next session, I will give you guys a little map and you can draw out for me your kind of strategy that you see playing out here. We won't waste too much time on that. Sorry, I gotta turn back on my computer. And as you guys leave the briefing for the day, I'm curious what you guys are doing for the day. Budanik, you have, and Voltaire, I guess, you guys have a couple commanders at your will, kind of directing people on where to funnel things, what walls to build. They have one of the topics that would have been discussed in that briefing is the lack of food for the future. They believe they have about a week and a half to 2 weeks worth of food for the city to survive.
What's the population of the city right now?
It's hard to tell. When you guys first arrived pre-battle, it was about 25,000.
And where's that right now?
It's probably floating somewhere in between the about 18,000.
Yeah, can't really help with that.
Yeah, they've lost quite a bit of people. Yeah, the whole front of the town is fairly demolished at this point. Morale is very low. Nazis, is there anything you want to do for the day while the other two are
I just want to remind them that the mansion will be up for until midnight is when I cast it. And if they want to bring any materials into the mansion and have the servants help them put things together and direct them, they can do that. Other than that, I will stay outside of the mansion for now. I will cast telepathic bond on us in case we decide to split up. It only lasts for an hour. But,
Okay.
And then aside from that, she doesn't really know how she can be useful in this situation.
Okay.
So she's just going to continue reading her Radiant book unless someone calls on her for assistance for something.
Perfect.
Before we would have broken from, I would have found Neandic. I would have asked him, Neandic, what is the current?
Not Neandic.
Nincardo?
Nincardo.
Neandic was the villain.
Yeah.
Right. I would have found Neandic and be like, bro, when are we taking these people out?
Nincardo.
The time is now.
We're already on the inside, bro. Come on. Give me the code word. Activate agent.
I would have went up to Nincardo. Nincardo, do you still have people stationed at the escape point that you had mentioned before?
We have mostly our elderly. And
Do you
children.
still feel like they could escape if they needed to?
That is the plan.
Can you show me exactly on the map where to go for this?
Yes, he points out to like the very. It's on the western wall, but basically the northernmost corner of the western wall that is touching the mountains. There's a little access cave there, and he kind of points it out to you. It goes north about 20, 30 miles before opening back up into the mountains. We are not sure at this point in time what's at the end waiting for us, but we know it's not this.
After gaining that information, I'm going to go over to Nazlith.
Yes.
And I'm going to point on the map. This is where you can make your escape. If you choose to leave, I will not tell you how to do anything, how to live your life. You can do however you feel is right by you. I do not want you to lay down your life if you do not feel it is worth it. Here is the escape route. You can go there, escape into the woods. Maybe perhaps you and Willow can go. Maybe try and bring back reinforcements if you find a city that is unattacked. It seems like we're going to be here for a while trying to fortify our defenses and situate our attack situation.
She doesn't say anything.
So, I will leave it at that. You can let me know what you decide. Do me a favor. Please don't just disappear for no reason. If you decide one way or another, that is okay. I'm not going to guilt you for what you decide. Just let me know what you decide so I can at least know where you're headed.
She just kind of nods a little bit.
Okay. And then I'll be back to work.
Before I get to you, Willow, I would say about 2 in the afternoon, 3 in the afternoon on this day, there becomes a time where that big tower that is off in the distance south of you guys, covered in the fungus. There is a moment, lasts about 10 minutes, where this tower in the distance is shooting from the top of the tower a purple energy.
Oh, fuck.
Just two beams. One of them is going directly north, and then one of them is going what appears to be your guys' southeast.
What's the purple Zugtmoy something or other? It was the same shit that got you and
It
Bultash.
lasts for about 10 minutes.
I have the colors listed.
Yeah, I
They're
had to choose one.
communicating with the other cities. this is the beginning.
Purple is mind control.
Yeah.
Willow, what would you be doing these? So basically, I'm going to give you guys a couple days. I'm just curious what your guys' plans are for these couple days. I kind of got your guys' first day, the gist of it anyway. Willow, what would you be doing for these couple days?
I have no strategy whatsoever, and kind of choose not to get myself involved with it. So my time will either be reading, and slowly walking the perimeter of the city to see if there is any fungus that seems to be creeping in, and then if I do find one, I want to test Divine Guiding Bolt on it.
Okay. Roll a perception check for me. And then, what are you reading exactly?
Oh, I'm just reading the rest of the necromancy book.
Okay.
That's 7.
The necromancy book for you is
Perception, that's my
7?
Yeah.
The necromancy book for you is fairly light reading. So you get into it a little too much to notice any like stray fungi coming in. It seems like as you kind of walk in, are paying attention, it doesn't come over the wall anywhere. The spots where the wall is down, it even seems to like outline where the wall was. As you read through the rest of this necromancy book, I'm going to say you finish it in the first day.
Cool.
There really isn't much for you to ascertain about necromancy that you probably don't already have some form of knowledge on. Is there anything specific you were hoping to gain from this? Just curious.
Mostly to see if there was like anything that could like better my overall knowledge of like arcane or history or something like that. Arcana, not arcane.
I would say you get a better understanding of the use of necromancy, like the reasons it's used. It's not always like a nefarious thing, right? It was almost like it was born out of good, but became something a little darker. And that's found throughout almost every culture that's kind of used it, from every cult that has tried to use it. Like the initial reasoning that is there seems to be of goodwill, until it eventually hits a turning point where it turns to a darker side of things. Like it's not someone just wanted to go out and raise a bunch of dead, right? It's like someone had a family member who died, and they wanted that family member back.
Right.
It would do anything for it. And, you know, necromancy kind of took over from there kind of deal. Outside of that, I would say you don't really gain much from that book after completing it. You just have a little bit more of a historical background on necromancy. As far as spells go, there's really not much in there for you to grab or to use.
Cool, then I just give it back.
And that takes you the first day. You guys are going...
At some point, I would have liked to talk to Willow.
Okay, definitely.
And I would have asked you a while back when we lost Badownik. You called upon something to give us our strength back before we went to find him. What
Yes.
exactly was that?
That's divine intervention.
What does that mean?
Means that I can convene with my God, and depending on if she's willing, she could do something and assist. However, since I was quite successful with the last time I did divine intervention, it takes quite a bit of power out of me, so I wouldn't be able to do it until 7 days later. So
How many days has it been? It's been more than 7 days, hasn't it?
Not really, because we went from the
4 or 5.
It has been like 4 or something days since last time we did it. So, in order for me to do it again, I definitely need to take at least 7 days rest for it to be successful again, potentially, maybe.
Do you feel that it's actually a god responding to you?
Yes.
What makes you believe that?
The god speaks to me. It has communication with me, in a sense.
And you believe that it's a god and not just a strong being like Baphomet or Zugtmoy?
If those were beings that I worshipped, it could have been.
Is your god a specific type of god or an all-knowing god?
Yeah, she deals with the winds.
So she's specific.
Yes.
Okay.
She's the god I choose to put my divinity into.
And what do you believe happens when we die?
I believe that we all just turn into dust and replenish the world in a cycle.
And where do you feel you, the essence of you, goes?
I will take to the winds.
So do you feel that you are you as the wind, or do you feel like you lose a sense of yourself?
I feel that I become the wind. That I do not no longer have a personal being or thought process.
Does that terrify you at all?
No.
And how are you so sure that you would become one with the wind?
My belief. Which is why I'm so powerful in the divination and holy.
And becoming wind after death is comforting to you?
Quite.
Okay. Would you... So how do you feel about death then, if you were to die tomorrow?
Well, being that my sister's no longer here, I would find comfort in it.
Okay.
And death for you?
Not something that I desire.
So it frightens you.
In a sense.
Can you have some way of controlling it, and that's why you dabble in necromancy?
Where I'm at right now, I do not have as much control over it as I would like,
Given your age, that makes sense.
but I would like to have a greater influence over it, yes.
Hmm.
Let's just say I'm not comfortable with my current skill set.
Do you find yourself taking more of a dark nature than a light?
Depends on how you look at it.
I mean, if you're willing, you doesn't necessarily have to be my god, but if there is something that you could potentially believe in, even if it's, you know, maybe something where it's fearful of death and something that could influence you, I could teach you how those arts work. If you find a god that you could believe into, I can show you a pathway to follow said god. Or teach you the beginnings of following a god.
I will have to think about it, but I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And then I take the book back from you
Yep.
if you're done with it. You okay?
Yeah, my thumb's been hurting all day because I've been playing video games too hard.
I get pain right in here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's like right here. It's that arthritis.
Repetitive strain injury.
Yeah, you gotta press on that D-pad.
This would be like a mechanic. That would be like a literally like you can build around that, and I'm good.
Okay.
So the next couple days goes by. Willow, just to clarify, because that was one day's worth of reading. And you spoke to her on day one. Is there anything else you'd like to do the next couple of days?
No, pretty much just replenish my divine energy. Meditating sometimes, praying, filling, like creating holy water.
Okay.
If I could find jars, big jars of it or whatever, and then maybe work to collect water into them and then create it into holy water?
Definitely. You'll see other clerics doing that as well.
Cool. I will assist.
Mainly at the temple.
Okay.
So I'd imagine that you kind of go back and forth with the temple. I will add that when you're in the temple, you do feel over these couple of days almost a connection to the temple that you didn't feel the first time you walked in. You can tell there's a presence of your sister in that temple. Take that as you will. But I would like to think that Willow would. Well, take that as you will.
I'm hoping Willow takes that and does something with it.
And we'll move on. We'll just say that's what you're doing the next couple days. I only got like one day from you guys, so just what are you guys doing the next couple of days?
Building.
Yeah, Budanik would be helping Budanik a lot. I also would be stopping at the temple where we lost Emberly. That I would be making a lot of prayers and trying to apologize and Matthew disagrees. Voltaire does not. Voltaire would try to be atoning for his sins. Just any spare moment that he had, he would at least make one or two trips there every day.
Okay. In Nazlith, what are you doing just while we
Subtle.
so subtle. What are you doing the next couple of days, Nazlith?
Every night at midnight, I'd be casting the Magnificent Mansion. So if he needs the servants to help, and also so we stay fed and we're not using the rations of the town.
Okay.
It's kind of our way of not consuming their resources.
Perfect.
Aside from that, I would be doing a lot of reading. Do I finish the Radiant book at some point?
I would say yes. You would finish the Radiant book on your first night as well.
Okay.
not your second.
Anything other than the Guiding Bolt that I would
As far as like
Okay.
spells to learn,
last 24 hours.
You'd have to do it.
roll an
Did it
intelligence check for me real quick.
You just walk out like, and then run back.
And then while you do that, Budownik, roll an intelligence check for your building. Do it at advantage.
What am I
I'm
looking
helping him
at?
the whole way.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. 27.
Intelligence? Just
Yes, ma'am.
that's just a straight check, right?
Yep.
27.
16.
Okay. With a 16, you do learn a couple other spells in the book, or you at least learn of them.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately for you, they are a divine magic that's a little out of your reach
Okay.
currently. Maybe one day, Nazlith, you can practice these and get them over. But you know that now is not that you just don't have the time
Okay.
and energy to be able to
So
sit down and really practice these ones.
okay, so if that was my first night, then I would move on to the Necromancy book as well.
Okay, is it the one that you've been passing on?
Yes.
And everything?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Did you give me 2 Necromancy books or just 1?
Don't recall.
I know you gave me Radiant. I know you gave me.
Problems, inputs.
I know I gave you at least one, but I couldn't tell you. But the one that you've been sharing as you started, it kind of goes into like the history of necromancy, at least for like this certain region that you're in. It goes over some of the traditional cults that originally brought necromancy here,
Okay.
the reasons they were doing it, and kind of like I was telling Willow, how their movement, almost every necromancy movement almost starts off as going from being a very good, positive thing that we're here to help to it kind of turns dark into we're raising zombies to help us now, right?
Okay.
I would say that first couple of days you don't gain too much outside of that on the necromancy.
Okay.
Sorry. Had to do that. Had to let it out. Yeah, I would say that that's about it.
Is it possible with the holy water that we could potentially have people douse themselves in part of it, and that would assist them potentially, or give them a one-up?
You don't know?
I don't know the effects of holy water.
You don't know the effects of holy water against the
Like more of a protection, not as a battle. Because I know that there's like attacks with
Yep.
holy water,
Yep.
but I don't know about the defensiveness it has.
If you wanted to be really creative and give me a way you were going to use holy water in some way, shape, or form,
We are going
it is
to
reasonable.
find glass bottles, fill them with holy water, and Molotov them potentially.
You want to use them as essentially a reverse Molotov cocktail.
Yes.
It's holy water that makes you burn anyways.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Putting out fires with bottles of water.
Starting fires with
But we
bottles of
can't
water.
use fire, so we'll use holy water instead.
Holy fires.
Holy fires.
I will let you prep.
I want one holy fire speech from somebody.
I will let you.
The holy fires will burn your ranks like the God said. I don't know.
I will let you prep
Mm-hmm.
some. Roll a d20 for me.
Hydrotovs.
I was gonna have my clerics help me since they're around.
Yeah.
You could also use people inside the mansion to help make those
Oh,
too.
anything.
Just a d20. Fine.
Okay. 12.
Okay, I'm gonna add a 0 to the back thing. So you have made 120 bottles
Holy shit.
of
How big of bottles are we talking here?
this holy water. I'm talking just a
A
generic milk
Can of
bottle.
soda.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
soda.
not like a little tiny, but
No, yeah.
A good
Traditional
splash.
Molotov cocktail.
a good splash.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're hitting a person or
good.
two, you know.
A ten- a
Holy
10
fires.
Maybe like a 10-foot cube.
Never give those some of the archers
Say
on
5
the
foot.
parapet.
That's exactly what we're doing.
5 foot.
But like definitely still give some to like, you know, others. I don't know. Do what you want. You're a person.
Oh no, I'm pretty much with your plan. I'm gonna put them. There are gonna be stations of them along the walls of the city, and there will be maybe not children, but
Smaller
like
types.
just older ones that are in their 17s, 18s who maybe are not as strong. Then just be runners, handing them off to them.
And as you guys are kind of getting ready for your guys' days, sometime in the middle of day 2, Nancardo and Lorelei would have come to find you, Willow.
No. Go ahead.
We have some thoughts on where we should place Emberly.
Uh-huh.
Just wanted to know your feelings about it. Lorelei had the idea that we could put her up in the tower. She could stay there forever.
Uh-huh. Given that the city does not fall to demons,
Be a monument of our success.
right?
I have a spot for her in the temple in our garden. If you would like that as well. We also have a more public burial site. If you would want to.
I would definitely steer away from the burial, and the tower is not exactly the place I would like to put my sister that also killed her. So I think the temple and the gardens would probably be the best thing.
Just unsure of what we were gonna do. I wanted to be sure you were okay with it.
That's what I would like to be done.
And Shaw has given us permission to change the name of the tower. Do you have something in mind?
Do I have something in mind to name your tower?
To honor your sister.
Tower of Death. I'm just kidding. It's a lot to think about. After the battle, I'll get back to you.
It's fair.
Do we hear this? Is this in front of us at all?
This would have been sometime in the middle of the day too. They probably would have come and talked to her privately about this situation. And it's a very minor talk. They kind of agree. We'll put her in the. We'll keep her in the temple until you have something else you want to do with her. But they're essentially at your beckoning call, it would seem, as far as what to do with your sister. Around day 4, sometime in the morning of day 4 when you wake up, you will notice that the fungus that is protruding above the city, yes, it is among us, as it begins to kind of cover the city, and now it's probably about a half dome over the city. You see as it begins to start its spiral down towards the top of the tower. With your roll, your intelligence roll, I gave you the shortest amount of time I was going to give you, which is 4 days, to build your full contraption up at the top there. So we're going to say day 4. You are managing to complete it on this day with your help that you have, your engineers, Voltaire helping you out, and kind of directing people. You do manage to get your Gatling laser beam on the top of this tower.
What a cool fucking sentence that he just said.
You do manage to complete this thing. Whether it's going to work or not, we will determine that at the time. But it seems like the time is coming.
The time is now.
Things are getting ready to occur.
So is it complete right now?
It is completed.
Budnik, have you done any test fires of this thing yet?
There's no time like the present. Who among us is the youngest and most eager?
Quick question. Do you have it rigged to where you can even fire directly above us?
I think because of the actual shape of the top of the tower, that's not exactly feasible. And I don't like to stick barrels out windows. It's just like a no-no.
So one problem that we have is we need to be careful of firing this in a way that might sever a portion of the portion above the tower now. Because
I was
then the
wondering
fungus
about
would fall onto the tower.
If we're being perfectly honest, trying to hit this one focal point, there is a chance that perhaps one of these more concentrated pillars of energy might, your head might pass through it at a moment, and I just really hope that we don't, miniature wave somebody's head.
Right.
But it's radiant energy, and if you're not a bad person, it shouldn't be a problem.
Well, I would generally think that most people would be like, "Hey, I'm going to keep my head away from that thing."
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Which
Are
is
you
why
looking to put a hole in the ceiling of the tower?
No.
No, I don't think that would be bad.
Is there a
honestly,
way?
the way this articulates it, really, you're probably only getting maybe at most 90 degrees upwards
So it's
from the
directly
horizon.
above?
Well, no, the problem area, yes, it's directly above us with the, it's like
Can you
a building.
angle the device?
Yes, about to 90 degrees from the horizontal plane.
How
You pivot
far?
it to 180 degrees.
Not without completely undoing all the work that we've done here today.
How far from the top of the tower to the fungus that's coming down is it?
Roll a perception check for me.
And what is supporting this mass of fungus? There has to be some
It's a
sort
half
of...
dome.
The dome.
Okay, but is it connected on the other side? There has to be something supporting
It's like
the
no,
weight.
yeah, it's like
It's
If
this.
it's all
officially
going over from
connected
one
on-
side,
yeah,
it's just
no.
gonna fall.
The whole eastern half of the city, from north to south, is domed over.
Right,
where
right. But what's holding the weight up? What's keeping this thing from
I've
toppling
been
under
to
itself?
Even
and
if-
weight?
I've
even
been
if
to
thick
amphitheaters.
The keystone of the.
Are there like
Fungi
are there
is-
pillars spread along
No.
the dome? Like
No.
I'm sorry.
long as
Are
you
you
have a thick
upset
base, it will
that the
support the
physics
top.
of this dome don't exactly line up with
Yes.
what you expect in a game
Yes.
where dragons and
Dungeons
radiant
exist.
light
Are you
bulbs
telling me that
and-
he wasn't going to try and make us be super precise about our description of our laser death beam? If we said we want to
No.
make a laser death beam, he'd have been like, haha, that's going to fail. But we took the time, we planned it out,
We-
we detailed it. You did, but I came up with it. It's my idea.
Your idea, I ran with it. I get it.
The point being, if he's going to ask us to be
18.
detailed, the reverse should be true too.
No, he's got. He gets to say whatever he wants. He can be like, no, that doesn't work. You can come up with the most elaborate dissertation about medical science and why a dragonborn's heart is actually
What did that make you
located
roll for?
in its ass cheek,
What did that make you roll for?
Perception.
Oh, yeah.
but he can just say no to that.
Well, that's
She
not the
wanna
world I
know
want to
how-
play
how
D&D.
high the
Close.
fungi
From the
was
top
from
of the
the tower.
tower to the fungi.
It looks like it's probably around 60 to 70 feet.
We got time.
Fuck!
60 to 70
Yeah.
feet from touching the tower. I want to cast guiding bolt on that shit.
I was gonna do the same thing.
Yeah.
Standing on top of the tower.
Yep, same here. I mean, I'll just put my arm out and go like this.
Um,
I
yeah.
will hold on to make sure. that
Easy
my
enough
friend
to
doesn't
cast
fall.
your guiding bolt, and as soon as both your bolts hit, the first bolt hits, takes about 5 feet of fungus off. You watch as it hits, and it just a splash of dead fungus falls off. And
Yeah.
as the fungus kind
All
of
that
hits
pulls
the
in.
light, not at first, but once it gets to the more intense light, and it's been the light for 30 seconds or so. It manages to change into ash. The second guide bolt hits it another 5 feet, crashes off, and you watch as
Right, we could just
Flakes.
literally do this all day. with
Clerics.
anybody
Go
that has-
to
yeah.
it.
Well, how fast does it regenerate?
Does it regenerate?
With the guiding bolt being radiant energy.
so what you guys are seeing is
We're cauterizing it.
it's
Yeah,
hard
that's what
to
I'm
see
thinking.
where it's regenerating. The end that
So
you
it
guys
is.
are shooting obviously is not regenerating. You're burning the ends essentially.
But we're keeping it from touching the tower.
However, you are watching this tower continue to grow very slowly, and it almost appears like think of it as like a nail on your finger, where you guys are shooting the very tip of it, but that's not where it's growing. It's growing from the base.
Yeah, so it's growing down towards
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
So
but
it's growing off of the walls and pushing.
We just
towards
wanted
you
to keep
guys.
it from
Yeah,
touching the tower.
exactly. So when you shoot it, you are chopping it in places, but it's continuing to push.
So if we
towards you.
aimed higher, in theory, what would happen is the bulk of it would fall on top of the tower and then spill over the sides.
Right. If we use the laser,
Crush.
and tried to
Crush the tower. That's the problem.
because then it would have weight. That's when it would be heavy and unbearable, right? Right, Chris?
I mean,
right?
I don't think you understand.
I think there's a
physics,
hot dog
but
video
that's
in town. You
okay.
wanna
If
try
we
your
take
luck?
off the lid, if we take off the lid of the tower that radiates light, is it because the reason why it's able to come down is because the radiant light is not coming up, or because
Yeah.
there's a hole?
It
on top
looks
of
like
it?
That's
this-
what I was trying to figure out.
It is strategically working around the light. Like it's plainly obvious.
What's the
looking at
ceiling
the
made
light.
out of?
Of what? Tower?
Yeah.
Stone.
I would like to try and cast fabricate
Right,
and just
remember
shift the
that a
stone,
lot of the
not
stone
damaging it,
around
but just
here-
shifting the stone to open up a hole at the top
Yeah.
so light can shine through.
Easy enough. And as you
I'm gonna need you to put that back because it really takes away from the amount of energy that is focused on my beam.
open
You're
up
not
a
using it at
hole
the
at the
moment.
Not
top
right now.
of this tower. This tower is magical. As you kind of connect to it, you would feel that.
Really?
Oh,
you would feel that it's not.
It takes a soul.
It's not like a traditional thing. It almost like allows you.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to
grants
damage it,
you
just
permission, basically,
rearrange it is what I was
Um,
doing.
And it kind of opens up, and you feel it open up. It's almost fighting you though, on that. So it doesn't hold as long as you would hope. But for the split time that you are able to open up a hole in the center, you do see it as the light kind of pours out. You see it as it begins to ash the side of the fungus above it. the light may not be powerful enough at where it's the height, even with you breaking a hole there to fully kill it, but it's obviously doing something.
Right, I'm looking for the youngest of the helpers around us, who seems like an eager lad to shoot off the first of a new technology.
Up on the tower with you guys right now is pretty much just you guys, along with Mincardo. Lorelei is not up there with you. And then, what is the other commander's name I've written down for you? And Zeltorian. He would also be up there with you.
Well, then I think none of us have more right than you.
No,
If you-
don't think
okay.
you though.
I mean, I'll do it. I have no problem doing it. I'm
Have
just trying
nothing
to
to do with this
be
tower.
more of a decent person.
You do realize that this is kind of where your sister's soul resides now? To resent your sister's
Choose not
home?
to.
I will grab onto the rails and fucking squeeze triggers and go. Let the fucking shields dip down and funnel all that light. Let everybody duck.
I'm going down a couple levels. I'm going down the stairs. I don't want to be on
And
top.
I'm going to aim at the central point that I remember.
Lorad.
Nope.
Lorad.
I am on
Baphomet.
fucking Baphomet's dick,
Mhm.
and
He's shooting.
I am firing into the center of
Do you
his
see him?
mass forces, if not
Where
at
he
him,
thought he
if I
was.
can see him.
You can't see any of the lords. Roll a perception check for me. And the way you fire this mechanism
Yes.
is there's like a lever, like almost like a big shift lever on your
11.
right. As you kind of pull this lever in, you see as the mirrors behind you kind of all begin to gather up a lot of this light, and as you cock the thing all the way back into place, the little handle next to you, as it clicks back to the very final spot, and you feel that last. The light begins to, the mirror pushes all the light kind of above your head and into this other mirror,
Yeah,
and
the
it
goal
begins
is to have the
firing
targets up
down
here.
this arrangement of different lenses that you have, and it fires out. Roll a d20 for me.
False life dice, 15.
15. So with your prior roll, you don't know where Baphomet's at, but you have a general clue of the last place you know Baphomet to be, and that's the direction you choose to fire. With a 15, you do manage to at least contact, like you can kind of see the little army out in the distance kind of waiting, and they're all just standing there, and you watch as you pull that trigger, the light, probably about a 10 to 20 foot burst at the speed it's going. It's very hard to
Were
tell.
we ready for
Yeah.
battle?
Of energy just
Right? No?
flies
Right now we're
through,
ready.
goes
Okay.
over the wall, it crashes into enemy territory. You watch as just body parts and limbs kind of go flying up in the air where you hit. It worked. Successful. There is a moment where you look around with that perception check.
They're all grumpy, grouchy, but that's fucking cool, man.
That is cool. You have officially created the first
Yeah.
laser in Ethway history.
Right? Like, come on. What's wrong with you?
And as you watch it crash into
Oh.
the sea about 2,000 feet away from you, you kind of look around, and there's a moment that you all will notice as he's kind of firing this. It takes about 6 seconds per fire.
So weird that you picked that number.
Yeah.
That's
So
so
weird.
odd.
You being the creator of this would know that on a bad roll could take you about 12 seconds to fire this
Ooh.
once.
Oof. But likely 2 bad rolls would still only take 12 seconds.
You would also know that as you were looking around and you fired this for your very first time, the city went dim for those 6 seconds.
Yes.
As you, as the city went dim, you could hear on the outskirts of the wall, like a rising of beings. And as soon as that light comes back, it almost silences.
Like they're literally hiding on just the outskirts of the city.
Like they.
So a bad roll can fuck us over for
12
2 turns.
For
seconds.
12 seconds.
So there
But
was
that roll would
time
be
to
like
react.
But the
Close.
light then comes back. Anything that comes
After
in.
12
After
seconds.
12
2
seconds.
rounds. 2 full rounds, and then it resets, and then light again.
It's gonna go like this though.
And when the light comes back, it torches
Yeah.
them.
We just leave it open for a little while.
After you fire that initial
We still
shot,
don't know if using that energy is gonna take away some of what Emberly
It
contributed.
ought
Don't
not.
give the
It
DM
ought not.
ideas.
Here's
Like
the
he
idea.
hasn't thought
So
of
here's
that
the
already.
idea. The light is already radiating outwards. We're just
Oh, that's
capturing it and putting it in a
specific.
focal point.
She hates every second of this.
She does. I feel bad for her. Because every time
No.
you play, it's always so
It's the
weird.
coolest thing, though.
I'm
It is.
going to.
I'm not giving
I'm
my
gonna
life to
release
this tower.
The handles and put the smoking cinders out in my mohawk and turn around. And is anybody still up here? I mean,
Everybody
I'll
feels
crawl
like
back up
energy
the
is-
stairs, yeah.
I mean, like that was pretty fucking cool, right?
That was the coolest fucking thing that I have ever seen in my entire fucking life.
I mean, I know, right? Like,
That
did you
was
see the
so
parts where
cool.
like,
I'm
there was
sorry.
like, and it was
Did
like,
you not
"Woo," and it was
check our perimeter?
We just kind of like revolutionized the warfare, I think.
At the
least-
cost of a city.
How is it that the cost of a city?
Well, I mean, like nobody's dead yet, so
Our border
well,
was
When I was
breached.
watching this
And
happen,
then it
did
spread
it?
back out
How
and
many
burned
did it look
them.
like he took out, and how many took the place of those ones that he
The
took out?
distance of where he shot at was like. It was in the enemy's lines. It was very hard to tell how many people killed. You would
Did-
guess that it probably.
did it feel like we just launched a big fucking bomb?
From a D&D playing perspective, I'm going to say that you guys, within a
Maybe like a ninth
essentially, if
level
you took a
rated fireball.
5-foot tube and just group of people, and I could just put that tube up and just fire it, everybody within 1,000 feet that is in that tube's, like in front of that tube, would get hit. That's essentially what you just saw. It doesn't stop. So say.
So it
Say-
penetrates.
Say it penetrates. Say I want to shoot Devin.
Well,
From
man.
here I could just boom get you right.
Jeez.
But if I strategically move it to the other side of Mike, I could get you, Zoe, and Mike right.
Is that what you did? Is
Boom.
you?
And so you
Drag
watch this
it?
when
Yeah,
you
it
fire
has
it
the-
in.
Right, it has the ability to
Is that what
travel
you did?
the radius of the arc,
Yeah. So
Okay.
what
and
he
it
did
also
was he
has the
moved
ability
it-
to pivot on its own
And
axis.
but okay, the next
He
part
moved it
though
just
is
slightly south towards the last place you
Okay.
saw Baphomet and just fired.
the next part of that though. Did it look like the lines just kind of regenerated and came back? Does
So-
it look full again?
Yes. So where he shot, yes. Something took the spot of the hole.
Is there a guard or something, somewhere like that near us?
You have a couple commanders up there. Named Cardo's up there with you.
Nicardo, we need Lorelei.
Wait.
I would like for her to assess the amount of light that we have left.
It will be monitored. I will make sure she's on it.
I'm curious as to if she can tell the lifespan of this light, how much it was deteriorated by such beam.
The
I
last
believe it-
light went for 1,500 years. I don't think we're
They
gonna
didn't add a lightning beam to it.
run.
Right, but I
Because they're
don't
not as
think-
cool as we are. We are much better.
I
than
mean,
them.
if we assume that 1 year was taken off, 1 year's worth of light is
We
taken
don't know
off.
if it was a year. It could have been 1,000.
that doesn't.
Likely not true. I mean, the light doesn't seem to have changed. Has
Does the light seem
changed?
to have changed? Yeah.
It seems the same brightnesses.
Doesn't seem to have changed all that much.
Given the fact of how much war we're about to go into, you're not going to be shooting this beam once.
No, I agree, and I think it should be targeting each of the lords. If they make a deposed face, then we might be able to.
If Lowred shows her face and then we can take her out, there's a good chance that her army falls
Your
with her.
priority should be
That is a
Baphomet.
well, I agree.
I'm saying,
Both
but
sides
either way, if we see a Lord, fire for the Lord. That's
fire
the
for
point.
the Lord, and it's likely.
Fire
I
for
mean-
the Lord.
Man, I'm making a T-shirt.
Yeah, it could be a band.
Fire for the Lord. We're not a Christian band. All I'm saying is, Baphomet, I think something on the lines of what you're talking about, Baphomet is the one that comes first. So if you take him away, what then?
Right.
Does everything after him follow?
The army
No.
that he rules by fear
But you
now is
cut-
no longer afeared.
Well, no. You stop him, or stop the process of someone trying to bring back Orcus.
Okay, and then if we take out Lorad, then do her armies fall?
Well, yes.
How
So
far in
both-
that book? What was the last thing I told you?
You told me all. You said I was done with it. That I got to the beginning.
The necromancy book?
No, I think you're talking. She's
The
talking
Kalistar
about
book.
the
Yeah,
Kalistar
the
book.
Kalashtar book.
Yeah.
Last time I said you got halfway. You read the halfway mark is what's in my notes.
Well, she finished
No.
the necromancy book on the first day, and
Not the
imagine she read it
necromancy.
for the remaining 3 days.
Yeah,
right?
you had. So you told. So I had read the Kalistar book.
Yeah.
One.
Because there's some key things.
We made a
Because you
laser
read this
Gatling
backwards.
What?
gun. We made a laser Gatling gun.
I fucking
One,
know, right?
two.
Fucking sick.
I'm just
Yeah.
thinking of Chris Pratt from Parks
So-
and Rec, where he takes the lasers class, and he's just excited about lasers.
That was
I
like...
read the Kalistar like quite a bit to the point that I filled out 3 pages
You
worth of
did read it
information.
a lot. And I remember you got to the family story, so that's when I told you were halfway, and that was our last.
That's
one.
halfway through the book. The last thing you told me about was that Zemdine was the main point or the center compared to our center, which is Groundspire.
Ah, yes.
And that Baphomet holds key to summoning Orcus, and that he did in the Dreamland. And then you told us about the Aboleth. I don't know more information about that in game.
That's where we stopped.
That it died and then grew a plant from its body, and they used that plant to get into the plane to start their doohickey.
Oh my god.
Okay, so you do have
I have
a decent little
I
ways
love
to
that
go
stuff.
in that book. You got some things.
That Aboleth is one of my favorites.
You got some things
It was
in
cool.
that
Yeah.
book to still learn about.
baffled me with the fucking information I got.
So just keep that in your mind that you do have some reading to do.
I have reading to do. Fuck, I would have kept reading then. Shit,
I sent
yeah.
over the first three,
Holy crap.
the rest of 3 days.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
have read?
yeah, I would have not even bothered. That point, shit. Yeah, I need to
Okay.
read.
I was curious why you're picking up the necromancy book.
Well, I picked up the, because I thought I was done with the book, honestly.
That's fair. I will give you a little bit more as these.
Yeah,
3 days go
sorry.
by.
Yeah.
You're good. You're good.
I guess I should have asked.
If you would have read it in order, it would have helped me a little more. But you know,
Yep, sorry. I didn't know.
It's
Hey, who
okay.
knows how long I'm going to live?
I want you to do this however you want to do it. So,
No matter how much it fucks up his plans.
exactly. So, as you have read the book the past couple days, you get to a part. Well, first let's touch back on the summoning of Orcus, because you kind of glanced over the summoning of Orcus in your in your readings going in reverse. You're now at the part where they experienced the summoning of Orcus and what it is. I believe we went over the
5 points in the center.
the 5
Baphomet
points,
symbol.
which makes up Baphomet's symbol.
Yep.
And when it talks about these 5 points in its action to summon Orcus to this plane, it talks about how the city that this Kalashtar family was in was one of these cities where this occurred. And it talks about how in the city in the dream realm that they were originally from was very flat. There was no mountains, there was no hills, they didn't have a lake nearby. In something very similar to something you saw the day before occurs to them as well. They have a tower that seems to be naturally made that occurs outside of the city during some of the days of their invasion. This tower also has 2 lights that shoot out from the top of it in certain directions. From the writing in this book and their view of this book and then the historical view of demons, I would say that you are smart enough to put together that what you witnessed the other day when that tower for 10 minutes had these purple streams of energy on it, they managed to summon Orcus to this plane.
I'm sorry. Hold the fuck up. Excuse me.
You would have known all this way ahead of time, but you read the book backwards.
I'm sorry. What we saw was the summoning of
you
fucking
would have had a
Orcus.
moment at night in your room of your mansion that, as you're kind of reading this,
Orcus is fucking here, dude.
that's what that was.
So you're telling me they freed Willie?
They freed Willie, and we
His-
still have control of the city.
You don't know what is happening.
How
right
did
now.
How were they able to? Is he chained? Wait, how the fuck were they able to? They haven't consumed any fucking shit.
I would say that you would also know that that this has to have 5 points, right? You have never been north of Bultash. You don't know what's north of Bultash. You know that one of the lines is going there. You do, however, know that the other ray of purple energy happened to be going southeast. And as you kind of read through this and you look at your map, you would get quite the wake-up call that Centisio, that's the direction of that
The
line.
city we were in?
Yeah. We didn't really leave it in a good state.
Yes, we did.
No, we didn't.
And as you are kind of looking around at the map and the lights and the patterns, and you're kind of going through this book, it's pretty easy for you to draw on the map this symbol and kind of get a realization of,
What's that
oh, fuck.
northwest point?
The northwestmost point.
Doth? Forer? Oh, is it Cording?
I would honestly have to look at a map in front of me.
Those are the 3 points.
There's a couple of them you're not going to know. They're not on the map.
Oh.
Whether
okay.
they're smaller towns, ancient towns that have been buried, you
Okay.
don't know.
All right.
You would happen to notice Centisio. You would happen to notice San Lefus is one of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you did. I think you told us actually.
You know that Ground Spire is kind of the
Ground Spire
center
is
of
one of
that.
them.
But that would have been a very quick
Everarena.
gist
Everarena.
of your reading. Is that that light, when that light occurred in the book that you're reading with their family, that's when Orcus
How many days
arrived
ago was that?
shortly after. You would know that to be literally yesterday for you guys. Actually, 2 days ago. I'm sorry. This is day 4.
This just became a fucking
After
serious cold war.
Emberly has died. So you're 4 days post mortem.
Wow.
Fuck.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Praise Cthulhu.
I would also
They
say.
got a laser tower.
Sorry, give me 1 second.
This can become what we have to do now is dig underground,
You become
and we'll make the
Subterranean people.
Underdark area for Zoe's.
You learned about Orcus's bracers.
This is all coming
What?
together.
What?
Wait, what did you just say?
You learned about Orcus's bracelets.
Yeah, that were his chains.
They
To the-
bind him
Bind him, yeah.
to planes.
Yep.
So you learned that piece. Sorry, I'm going through this backwards.
I remember you mentioned that to me.
Why did you read it backwards?
Because I wanted to get to the stuff
I
that
had like most of it
the
written
most
out
recent
too, but some of
stuff.
it's not, and I'm like,
Oh.
where do I tell you this piece?
the most recent stuff of like the so that we are like fully like okay, well
I
this is
agree with your.
yeah. I
No,
thought
yeah,
it
that
was-
makes sense.
And
That's-
then
that tracks.
the kind of the end towards of their story as well goes over how once Orcus came, their city was managed to fight off Grazit, which I think we already spoke about.
Yeah,
dead.
he's dead.
Yeah,
Dead.
he is dead. Their city managed to fight him off. Unfortunately, they were too late. Orcus was already on his way and coming.
I'm sorry, he moves.
The last portion.
Yeah, he moves. He's a fucking person.
The last portion of the readings you get to complete your book and your knowledge of essentially all of this is should say it begins, with this Kalishtar family. They're living a fairly happy life on a very large farm.
So you don't want to start
They
with
are
big happy beginning.
supporting their city. They seem to be pretty well off. It goes into the initial contact that they had with the demons. It goes into how Grazitz was the one who attempted to take over their specific city, and actually helped bind Orcus to that city. It goes into the details about how certain members of their city were enslaved, whereas some of them were used as essentially zombies, like a zombie army. Some of them were an enslaved army. Some of them were killed and later turned into other things like fungus. And some of them were just put into camps to work under fear and help build the world into a more demonic friendly place to live.
Are they allergic to like pigeon poop or something?
Right, air. The very last piece of it you would get is that Orcus, once Orcus binds his bracers to that plane, the only way to unbind those bracers to that plane is to kill Orcus. If you were to kill Orcus on your plane, not only would you end his bind from your plane, you would end his bind from every plane except for his home.
Ooh.
Meaning that
If we killed him, we'd restore the dream plane and any other plane that he had captive over.
you would, at the very least, free the realm or the plane of dreams if you were to kill Orcus. We'll say that you have this epiphany in your room the night before you guys go out and test fire this laser that you guys just fucking built.
Sharks with laser beams.
Yeah,
in
so
their
sorry, to
frickin'
bring
heads.
all that back to the laser situation, after you fire your laser, you guys kind of have this mild conversation about, oh crap, that was cool.
Wild.
Exciting yet.
Oh, did you know Orcus is here?
Did you know? Oh, interesting. Yes,
Oh, that's so crazy.
indeed.
I guess we just have to kill the Kikita.
Okay, you guys can have whatever conversation you want.
You were all concerned
Yeah.
about
And you guys are up on this tower.
Orcus is
Willow, if you would like to share any
Would you like to go to
information,
brunch and discuss our tactics?
Yes,
you're
indeed.
more than welcome.
Maybe a little light laser will save the world.
No?
You guys wanted to run. Orcus is out.
Orcus is on this plane of existence. We must kill Orcus before he binds himself to this plane. And if he does bind himself to this plane, we still have to kill Orcus.
In your readings of Orcus,
Yep.
did you find any possible weakness for him?
Nope.
Bird poop.
None. He's a demon, so the best thing is radiant, divine energy.
Well, I think that we might have to deal with the problem that we currently have in hand, which is getting the fuck out of the city.
Orcus
This-
is from the abyss.
Is abyssal?
Can I make a religion check
A religion canon.
to see what I remember about the Blood Wars and what the probability of recruiting the help of the devils, if I'm not mistaken, to combat a force other than, you know, because
You
if I
are
remember,
not.
if I remember correctly,
You are not thinking of
it's
being in a
like
contract with devils.
Midgard, and then Hell, and then the Abyss, and these guys quite often are bitter, if I'm not mistaken, about the fact that they're stuck between, you know, a really nice place and a really shitty place, and they always feel like a buffer. I'm extrapolating on knowledge that I shouldn't know.
You can roll a religion check for me.
Wouldn't I just know that information
You would have.
from my blood war? Yeah.
It depends on if you've
Yes.
shared it with him or not.
Ask me the question.
10 total. So all I'm saying is, you know, they're like hated enemies, and they've always want to, you know, maybe
They're
some.
fighting over land.
Yeah, but they've always felt that they were underappreciated for keeping that buffer between us and the abyss, and now it seems that they have circumvented that, and
Yes.
nobody knows the abyssal armies better as from an opponent's standpoint than the devils themselves.
Right, and so your game plan for the devils?
Well, I mean, you see, we got these. Have you ever met a tiefling?
Yes.
That's not that far removed from what I'm talking about here. I mean, obviously, the
Seems a
two
little bit.
can get along in some fashion. So perhaps maybe, not fighting this alone might be of some benefit with some sort of return. And I mean, shit, give them Bultash. Let the devils have Bultash. Why not?
You're gonna want to
It's like Las Vegas.
contract
Weren't
The
you saying that you
devils.
wanted to die fighting for this town that your ancestors?
Bultash.
No, but like that was before Orcus got here.
You're wanting to create contracts with
the
devils.
Yes.
to fight against.
The abyssal armies, yes.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
I don't see how that's any
Devils
different.
are not to be trusted.
Hmm.
Those contracts have sub points of it
Paragraphs,
and convoluted writings, and you want to give a point of being on this plane of existence to devils?
Or else lose the entire plane of existence. Just a thought, that's all. That's all I'm saying.
Again, I think that we might have to deal with the devil at hand first, before we can even try and summon allies, as it were. We would need to take care of these enemies.
I feel like there's a story somewhere where, as a battle was about to begin, 3 friends dived down deep into the underground and located an additional undead army to help alongside the battle. Are you saying that as this battle is going on, because I'm going to tell you right now, we probably have days that
I
we
wouldn't even say that.
find devils?
Yeah. I don't know. I know the story you're talking about, but they owed allegiance to that king, and by permitting them the opportunity to fight on his behalf, he would release them from a.
Yes, but they had a
bond.
better chance.
Willow, roll a history check for me. Or a religion, your choice.
Can I assist? I'm
History.
proficient in religion.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm not proficient in history, but
19, 20, 26.
You would know that devils, although evil, very lawful.
they
Hence
don't like
contracts.
broken rules.
They will.
It's true. Everybody.
It's not that their arch enemies are the devils. I mean, are the demons. Demons and devils fucking hate each other. They're both evil. The only difference is demons, madness. They don't give a fuck. They will go in, do whatever they want, and leave, and be fine with the outcome. Devils, they're very structured. There's law and order to their society. Believe it or not, they don't just live in a chaotic
Right.
world. They live in a world very similar to what we live in, just more
Brimstone and fire.
Through my
brimstone and
research
fire.
knowledge, and I know their language, would I know how to get in contact with them at all?
Is deep speech or primordial?
It would be abyssal.
Abyssal? Oh, yeah, you're
I
right.
actually speak infernal.
I speak all of those.
Infernal would be the one for the devils. I would say that if you guys were to put your knowledge together, Nazlith and Willow, Nazlith, you've dealt with necrotic groups before, of cults. You've not dealt with demonic cults, but you know they're out there. They're
You mean devil cults?
devil worshipping cults, yeah, sorry. But you do know they're out there.
Okay. I wouldn't have learned anything from learning their languages or anything like that. Sorry, it's a valid
They have
question.
like a phone
Yeah,
number.
no, it's fine, it's fine.
Let me bring up my little
I
black
would
book.
say that you have like maybe a
These guys
brief,
are favor.
Yeah.
a pretty brief knowledge on it. You would know of like regions or like people or how to get a hold of a cult person who has had this belief, but
Got my speed dial.
yeah, it's not something you could you just call a friend or something, that kind of deal.
Hey Jeff, it's Naz.
How you doing? I'm in a predicament. I need you to call your homie, devil.
Do they
Hey,
have
yo, we got a
any
problem. Get the
libraries
gang
or
together.
bookstores or anything like that still
Tell the
intact in
boys
the
to get
city?
the gas.
Sorry, what was that?
Do they
We
have
got
any
laser
bookstores
guns.
or libraries or anything like that still intact in the city?
They do, yeah.
I would want to go find the nearest one.
Okay.
I would leave this.
I will go as well
Yeah.
and help.
Okay.
Yeah, that's easy enough. You guys just got done successfully shooting off your laser.
I'm gonna teach
Are you guys
the
staying?
nearest guards. I'm
Are
going
you
to pull
staying?
them up, and I'm going to teach them how
I'll
to use
stay
it.
with you guys.
And
You're
if,
gonna go to library with us or the
if
bookstore?
shit
or the
starts hitting
bookstore?
the fan real quick, start firing off.
Definitely.
Badownick, are you going with us or staying? Bultash said he's
This-
coming with us.
Time, I think I will join you.
Okay.
Is Leslie here to take over for the firing?
Right, I've already got guards on watch. I think that one, his name's actually.
We
we're
should
in-
keep an eye on the level of the light to
Shafir.
make sure that we're not risking the
Shafir.
light for firing. Is Lorelei here?
Laura?
We are getting Lorelei. She will answer all of our questions about the amount of energy we have.
If you notice the light starting to dim, stop firing.
Really, don't start firing until shit hits the fan.
That is probably true. Keep an eye on the growth overhead. We don't know the density or the weight. It could be anything at any moment, so just keep an eye on that. We'll be back.
We're
I'll be
already
back.
moving as you guys
Yeah,
are getting
definitely.
close.
And very easy to find the library. You guys are already in the more governing side of the city.
When I get there, I'm immediately gonna pull out my staff, mutter to myself for 10 minutes, and cast comprehend languages.
Yep.
And once I do that, I'm gonna start running. I'm gonna look and start running my hands along all the books and just look for anything that I feel like would be relevant to our situation.
I'm just gonna keep looking through books. And
Are
see if I
you
can
looking
find
for more like the
anything.
demonic thing that's going? Like
Devil.
questions,
Devils,
the devils.
yeah.
I will assist in search
Or
for
if there's
devils.
anything demonic that pops up that would be interesting to me as well, I will take that too. Either way. But I wanted to cover my bases with the languages.
Yeah. Willow, you're helping.
Yes, absolutely. I'm checking out any book I fucking can.
I would say that it is pretty easy. One more roll for our friend. Wow, you all did great. Pretty easily, you find some books that go into the dark arts that is devil worship.
What languages are these in?
Mostly infernal.
And how many books are there?
Now you're just asking too many questions.
I'm trying to reduce our time. I'm trying
What are
to
the
be
names and
efficient.
titles and authors?
Damn it! I was gonna say that. That was my next bit.
You find 2 books.
Do you speak Infernal?
Can you read out the
Do
bibliography
you
for
speak
us?
Infernal? I'm going to give one book to Badownick, and I'm going to... I don't even need comprehend languages for this. I can just straight up read it. But Badownick and I are going to double team it together. That's why I asked.
Yeah, easy enough.
Damn, I wish I could read this book.
Nazlith, the book that you go over, talks about the Diabolista cult.
Okay.
It's a cult that is known in Bultash and in this region that happens to worship the devils. Most of these cult members are Dragonborn or Tiefling.
Would
descent.
I have any insight on that then?
No, not on this. Opposite side of Bethway for you. And it goes into specific detail about a leader, Hyandra Valhort.
Can you spell that?
I don't even remember
Hyandra, Valhort.
Okay.
Well, it's
That was the
spelled-
most
You're like-
DM moment I've
You're
ever had
like,
in my life.
this is their name.
Okay,
They're like,
it's
what? How can you spell that?
I
And
it's
you're like,
spelled-
I have the last name, but I didn't do the
Hyandra,
first,
Hyandra. It's now
Yes.
canon.
Perfect.
Valhort, I
Wait,
wrote
how'd you spell it?
VAL-HORT.
Hydrangea Davenport.
Hyandra, Hyandra.
You're like,
That's what I
how do you
have.
spell it? I'm like, I farted out
Valhort?
a name.
We got Valhort.
Val dash
Hort.
port.
H-O-R-T.
Okay.
Hydrangea Davenport.
Hydrangea.
And it goes over their practices and their communications with the 9 hells, the nine layers. It goes over kind of what they do as a cult and how they communicate. Yeah, the book that you receive actually goes over. It's more along the lines of the history between almost planes between the material plane and the 9 hells, and kind of the fear factor that's right there of like, you know, if I do bad, I might go these 9 hells, and it kind of glosses over the history of how that kind of came to be and why they are kind of considered evil versus good, although they are all they are just as lawful as, you know, we are. It also goes over specifically the portals to at least the first layer or 2 of hell, as it seems to get harder and harder to get to the lower portals. The first layer of hell is pretty simple to get to from the material plane, it seems, from this book. Most people talk of magical lava fields, or you know, like man-made lava pits that were magically formed, and using those as portals. To get to the second layer of hell, it's a little more complex, and you almost have to have a like someone from the 9 hells with you to almost give you access to that the second layer of hell. The portals in this section kind of expand. They're not just, you know, lava-based or fire-based like the first section. However, all of them have to include a magic that is brought on by a devil. I will also say that both of you in your readings
We're breaking out a fucking source book, guys.
yeah, you guys are really making me think.
Sorry.
Your story, man.
Hey,
You put us in a really
No.
difficult spot, and
This
there
is-
isn't many
you
solutions
guys
here.
now want to know about the history of the 9 hells.
Yeah, could you give me a full dissertation on the Blood Wars, start to finish? And
And
whatever.
cite your sources, please.
Inside
Chronological is
your
great.
sources.
Chronological is great. MLA format. It's easier to read.
Do, 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 do. Not what I want.
Go take care of it. No. No. Go take care of it.
And it talks about these creatures referred to as oblexes. Both of you would get this. Oblex, and how these are creatures that are fabled to be on the material plane of Ethway. They are essentially shapeless beings from the 9 hells. They can take the shape of whatever they want. So they can be found in like human form. They can be found as, you know, rocks. They kind of do what they want, but these are the beings that are typically the ones in your readings. It would be these are the beings that are typically passing from one layer of hell to the material plane, specifically on that second layer. for you, you would see this as the cults that you are reading about. These are who the cults kind of communicates with on the material plane, as far as like doing the will of the devils.
Is there anything about how to contact or find them? Is there like if you see a rock that is breathing, it's obviously an oblex, and they love candy corn.
There isn't. In both your books, you guys would get some gists on the type of like worship that was done around them, and the type of summoning that was done around them to attempt to get devils to answer to cult prayers, essentially, or to get on this plane to help them out, or give them information on what they should do to be spreading their cult or the devil's religious views. But
I think in sharing our information, the most prudent and likely thing that I would do is be like, all right, anybody else feel like they want to try and gather anything here? Any more information, knowledge? Because I've got things that I think we should do soon.
Did Willow find anything while we were doing that? I imagine she'd keep looking. I don't think she'd sit idly by while we were doing that.
she, well, I let her help you on yours.
To find it, right?
Yeah.
However, is there anything else you'd like to do in the library?
No, I mean, I'm just gonna
You're
sit next
pretty
to
much
him
helping.
and wait for them to, I guess.
Yeah.
I looked, but that's her, helping her.
Yeah. I would say that you definitely helped Nazlith in
Do they talk about? Does the book that I read or he read talk about how to create that first lava pit spell? The portal to get to the first layer of the Nine Hells.
in the book that you read, the person who created the lava pit, it was almost like that was like a cantrip-esque spell for them, similar to like produce a flame.
Okay. With
They
that knowledge,
almost produce lava.
I'm going.
It's just a stronger form.
I'm gonna run with a quick like jotted piece of paper, rip it out of the book because I don't care right now, and just jot on the piece of paper my quick notes here, and be like, all right, anybody else that wants to come with? And I'm just gonna start hoofing it as fast as I can back to the king.
Okay.
I'd go with him.
Yep.
And I'm going to just kick down the doors. I don't care about the guards. Fuck off. I'll flash any means of badgery that I have to tell them to get the hell out of my way. Kick in his door and, my liege, forgive our hasty intrusion into your chambers. Is he there? I mean, am I able to find him?
Yeah, he's there. You
I'm
open it
not
up.
talking
He's
to open
sitting at
space.
it's a very large workspace. He's behind a very large desk. It looks like he's got his battle map kind of in the corner of his office that he's kind of looking over.
I'll
as
bow
you go through.
courteously and, but still make my way forward. I'm not stopping.
Yeah.
And just start spewing. And my liege, have you any information of the Diabolista, or perhaps maybe a particular individual known as Kiandra Valhort?
And as you enter the chambers of the king, you begin spouting off these questions towards him. There is a guard in there with him as well. He has a rather, as soon as you mention the Diabolista, he gets a rather intrigued look on his face, almost like questioning why you would know that name even. And we will pick up there next time.
Ugh. This fucking king knows more than he's letting on, guys. He's a devil worshiper himself. Fucking bring it. Bring on the pain. Bring on the heat.
You guys made me think a lot this time, I'm not gonna lie.
Revenge.
You
Fire for the
put us in
Lord!
a really hard spot.
Seriously, what do you
I
expect?
Fire
don't know
for
what
the
to
Lord!
do, if I'm being honest.
I love it.
We fucking built a laser, goddammit. Like,
You guys did some cool work. Good job.
Dude, that is...
My roles behind the table today, or behind the screen today for you guys, were in your favor. So I just throw that out
Man,
there.
this is so stressful.
It is stressful, but
I
thank
can
you
imagine.
for watching us tonight, everybody. Nobody died. Well, actually,
No.
technically someone died. But Zoe, your sister,
Nobody.
will forever be remembered by being named after a tower. Thank you for watching the Witness Guild. Have a lovely, lovely night. Happy 4th of July. Go Phoenix Suns. And good night.